Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I love this.
My name's Jay Milne. #Blue.
Our sports update deliverer. The Coop.
I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid?
You might be honest.
All right, here's what's going on in the Nasty Chapter.
Well, pleasant afternoon. I'm back. Jay, thanks for filling in yesterday. Had a pretty nice weekend. I will talk about that as we move along. The Oilers back in a funk, couldn't beat Buffalo. The Brier Jacobs Rink champions, Marc Kennedy, third off that rink, is going to join us in about 40 minutes. And some changes for U Sports Hockey. We'll discuss all that as we move along throughout the show. The headlines presented by Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program. Take your career to the next level with Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program, a perfect tool for professionals looking to advance their role or an organization needing to develop leaders. For more information and to register, visit nate.ca/CLSP to take your career to another level. Quickly, Jay, how are you doing?
Oh, very well, Reid. Nice to have you back.
I'm not rushing you along. We have a very special guest standing by who was able to join us right off the top of the show. He's a busy guy. He's a guy I've been interviewing for over a decade. How about that? And I'm glad to have him on the Reid Wilkins show for the first time. Our city was first introduced to him as the very successful head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, leading to a Memorial Cup victory 11 years ago. He's now coaching in the American Hockey League in Coachella Valley for the Seattle farm team. Derek Laxdal making his first appearance on the Reid Wilkins show with Jay Milne. Derek, it is great. There's a lot of people on the audio stream, but we have the video as well, so I could say it's great to see you. How are you doing? Derek, can you hear us? I will text him right now because he's there. And we'll check. I was so excited for that intro. Sometimes that happens. We'll get him on. We'll get him to check the chat. Anyway, you did a great job yesterday, Jay.
Thanks, Reid. There was the discussion of if we hit 200 likes yesterday, that you'd have to wear a leprechaun outfit and recite limericks.
How many likes did you get to?
Well, it was a split show, so it's, we were, when we broke for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, we were at 123. We got to 123 in the first hour. It was a strong number. Felt good about it.
That was a good number for an hour. That's very good.
Now, there's no way I can accurately say that we would have or did get to 200 because the third hour was a blended show.
Right.
Now, I did talk about it yesterday that I think your days of wearing costumes at EST functions and or EST work,
yes,
they're numbered.
I said I would never wear a mascot costume again after dressing as Smash at the Nasty Bash in St. Albert last July. Yeah. So I don't think you're going to get me to dress up as a leprechaun.
I don't think so. And I won't be here. I'm not here next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Going, my ski trip got derailed.
You gone all next week? Friday all next week? And
no, I'm going to
come
back early because...
that's not your whole time off anymore. That's sad.
No. There was a gondola accident at the resort that we were going to. Kicking Horse.
So it's closed?
Well, yeah. So it's up in the air. TBD, brah.
Okay.
TBD.
TBD. All right. We had Derek Laxdal on briefly. We will connect to him. It's cool. We may have to phone him if we don't get the video, but let's see what we can get going on here. 780-218-9999 is how you text us. That is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Tap 25 restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. You can email Reid at edmontonsportstalk.com. Your limericks can come in there. I already got a limerick earlier. You have Jay's email address as well, jay@edmontonsportstalk. So you can also email him the limericks, whichever one is fine. And if you are in the nasty chat on YouTube, that's just the regular chat if you're new to the show, and you don't have to be a nasty person. Doesn't mean you are a nasty person if you are in there. It's just what Dustin dubbed it a few years ago. The nasty chat on YouTube. Talk with us, more importantly with each other, about the Oilers, about curling, whatever you like. I already saw some Marc Kennedy comments in there. He's coming up in a little over half an hour. And remember, give us the thumbs up if you are on YouTube, as Jay was just talking about it. Really good total in the first hour of the show yesterday. We'll see what we can get to today.
Click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
I really missed that audio clip yesterday.
I should send it to you so you have it when I'm not here.
No, I don't think you should. I think that should only be for when Riedrich is in person. We do have an early, this one is an absurd limerick.
Oh, good.
I think we should probably...
They're supposed to be.
This came in from Jeremy the Surveyor. There once was a station so shy, sumo techs piled endlessly high. A Basho's in play, new Yokozuna today. Come on, guys, give sumo a try.
That's all about sumo wrestling?
I guess that is. We'll have to dig into that. I'm gonna find out what a new
we'll
Yokozuna.
have to look. Okay, I think we got Derek. I gave you an incredibly kind and enthusiastic intro, and you couldn't hear any of it. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing right. I gave this whole thing how I've been interviewing you for over 10 years, and you were a great Oil Kings coach and helped them win the Memorial Cup, and you've gone on to do so many great things, and this is your first appearance on this new show, and none of it came through to you. Very disappointing. And I can't do it with the same enthusiasm now.
Well, hopefully I can go back and re-listen to it and see if I can hear it again.
You'll be able to hear it that time. Hey, it's great to see you. Thanks for making time for me, as you always have been great. I'm trying to remember the career path after Oil Kings. Was it Oil Kings, Texas Stars head coach, Dallas Stars assistant coach? Oh, what was the Ontario Hockey League stop? Was it Oshawa?
Oshawa Generals, yep.
And now with the Firebirds in the American Hockey League, right? That's your trajectory since little old Edmonton?
Yep, that's my trajectory since I left in 2014.
All right. I want to go back because you won Coach of the Year with Oshawa, right? In the OHL?
Yes, I did. Yep.
So now I know there was a little bit of a time separation there. It's the same. It's the CHL. It's Major Junior Hockey. Were there differences, although, between the two leagues, between the OHL and the Dub?
You know what? That's a great question. I've been asked that many a times, and I can start off with the first thing that I really noticed was the travel. We were in Oshawa, Ontario, and believe it or not, throughout I think the first season I was there, and the second season, we had 6 travel nights where we would be on the road and stay in a hotel. We actually had more in the playoffs, our second year, obviously going to the finals last year with the Jennies. But in the Western Hockey League, I think we were up around 55 to 65 nights on the road. So that was the biggest difference that I saw. The second difference that I saw, I would have to say, would be the skill level. Like the high-end skill level of the players, I would say would be 10% or 15% higher than the Western League kids.
Really? Why do you think that is?
Well, if you look at the numbers, the number of players from the GTA and the Ontario area, there's just more kids to draw from, more kids playing hockey. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but if you look at the probably the numbers of kids playing in those areas compared to the cities of Edmonton, Winnipeg, and that, I'm sure there would be a difference in the numbers. I don't know the numbers offhand, but that's what I saw. Now, but in the end game, coaching is coaching. You have to mold your team, mold your players, kind of get them out of their ways and find a way to win. So that would be the biggest difference for me.
Okay, I'm going to reference something you told me a few years ago, and I've used it on air. And at first I said it was just from somebody I knew in the coaching world, and then I eventually just started saying it was from you because I wanted to give you credit for it, and it's not like you said anything controversial. Do you remember this was not a conversation we had on air. We one of us phoned the other. You might have still been on the Star staff, and we were just talking, and I said something about the flow of a game or something, and you said that you talked with your fellow coaches in Dallas, and you or somebody else said that the NHL is becoming a game of runs like the NBA, and how much damage can you do when you have... Do you remember telling me this and this theory that somebody had?
I'm going to be honest with you, Reid, I don't. But what I can tell you with that statement, I find junior hockey is becoming a game of just runs, a track meet, if you will say. And the teams that defend, the teams that check, and it's a little bit like the National Hockey League, the teams that check in the end and defend are the teams that probably make the playoffs and go deeper in the playoffs. There's going to be teams that, are in a track meet situation that get to the playoffs, but can they get to the end game? That's the biggest, I think, outlying factor for me between getting in the playoffs and winning championships.
Right. Derek Laxdal joining us. This is my new colleague, Jay.
Hi, Jay. How are you today?
Great. For those that don't know, Coachella Valley is essentially Palm Springs, right? I mean, you've coached in a lot of places, but what is it like coaching the game of ice hockey in essentially what is a desert? I mean, this is retired golfing enthusiasts, concert goers. What has it been like for you, and what is the team like there? And I mean, I know they have decent crowds, but what has it been like for you coaching there?
Well, that's a great question. I think if you go back to when I took the job in July 1, I knew a little bit about the situation here. It's been in the American Hockey League for 2 years. A brand new building here built on the I-10. Seattle Kraken's American League franchise. And, at the end of the day, just you don't really understand how big it is down here until you get down here. And I'll start from, if you look at the first 2 years with what they built here, both teams went to the Calder Cup finals and lost to Hershey twice. They had great veteran teams. They didn't have a lot of draft picks coming through the system. So we'll touch on that in a bit here. But if you look at, they built a building right on I-10, and if you understand the Coachella Valley, there's 9 cities in the valley, and they put this building right in the middle. And I know they talked about building it downtown Palm Springs, and the advantage of building it on the I-10 just galvanized the whole valley. Like it's just one big valley now instead of 9 little cities. And the people have really bought in, obviously, the success on the ice. And if you see the building and the show they put on, it's been an absolute home run for the ownership group, the Seattle Kraken, OVG, and the other owners of the team. And then the fans of the area. Like this is an NHL team, college team, American Hockey League team, and the fan support and the just the excitement under one umbrella. It's incredible. Now that being said, if you look at what we have for a fan base, like, all the snowbirds are coming down here. I see license plates from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Texas. The people just come from everywhere, and they're hockey fans. So a lot of these people have season tickets, and there's some nights we'll have, 8,000 tickets through the gate, but have 6,000 fans because some of the snowbirds aren't here yet. But they've really taken to the team. Like it's just, it's incredible. And so for me coming in this summer, a team going to the championship with a veteran team. I think 6 players went out: Podorowski, Hughes, Lynn. These are all the top scorers. And now we're bringing prospects in. We've got 8 or 9 prospects, first-year players playing in our lineup. And knock on wood, we're sitting in first place. Like we're battling on Colorado tomorrow night for a first-place matchup. So we give our group credit. The kids have really grown, and it's just the whole area is just bought into the whole Coachella Valley Firebirds.
So, and I know you coached Texas before, but like I think of the Oilers, right? Like with the Condors, for example. Like they had, there's always the Brad Malones, and then there's he was a mentor for Yamamoto, for example. Like that's the 10 to 12 year age gap. Like what's it like for you as the coach? Maybe you have some guys. Of course, they want to play in the NHL, but they might know later in their careers that's less likely. And then you might have the younger guys, 20, 21, 22, that the Kraken are like, hey, Derek, like in a year and a half, we need this guy to be playing 20 minutes a game. Like, is that a balancing act for you as a coach, or am I overthinking how it is dealing with players in different stages of their careers?
Well, I think it's a combination. For like Troy Bodie is our GM here, and they've done a great job of bringing in, like, from that first year, guys like John Hayden, who's played in the American Hockey League, the NHL, Max McCormick, who's played for for Carolina, and he's our captain here. He's been out actually the whole year. He hasn't played at all. He played 17 games, but the veteran leadership that they surround and the culture that has been built, and we've grown since all the 2.5 years of the organization. It really just flows perfectly, and the guys that come in buy into what was in place here, and they just keep it rolling to what we want with our organization. Like, I brought in Brennan Sone, the head coach of the Saskatoon Blades, as an assistant, and then I inherited Stu Bickle as my D coach. And whatever combination of the chemistry we have as a coaching staff has done a great job of just intertwining it with our leadership and just growing that culture of our group.
Well, and you mentioned, because I think you're not just tied for first in the division, I think you're tied for first in the conference. And haven't you won 6 of your last 7 or something like that? It's a bit of a hot streak here lately.
Yeah, we have. And you know what? It's we fluctuated all year, and it depends on call-ups and guys getting sent down. And we've had Philip Grubauer was down for a month, and we had Daniel Sprong down here, which they just traded to New Jersey. So we've had a lot of movement with our group and some major injuries with our young kids, and kids are starting to come back. But, obviously with your American Hockey League team, you want to develop players to your next Seattle Kraken player, which we have some players. Yanni Newman just went up yesterday. He's got 26 goals as a rookie in the American Hockey League. He just went up to Seattle to get a few games. We had Jacob Melanson, who just got his first game last week. So they've done a good job of guys going up and down. So, and then, for us, we've managed to play through the call-ups and managed to play through the injuries. We've got a young goaltender here in Nicky Coco, who's had a great season, and he's probably the next Seattle Kraken goaltender coming up. So all these young kids are playing their first year, going through some adversity, and there's peaks and valleys in their games, and we just seem to be riding the wave a little bit. And now we have 16 games until the playoffs, so this will be a big test. We've got some major pieces up in Seattle, and this will be a big test going up against Colorado tomorrow night.
We had Curtis Lazar on the show. He was one of the first guests in the first couple of weeks. You still in touch? Do you ever run into or stay in touch with any of those players from those awesome Oil Kings teams you coached?
Yeah, I do. What I try and do is I try and reach out anytime there's something that happens in their life. With Curtis went to New Jersey, I reached out to him. And believe it or not, Curtis and Mark Stone came to my hockey school when I had it about 6-7 years back in Manitoba. So I have a lot of time and a lot of love for a guy like Curtis who gives back to the game. And I always try and reach out. Dyson Mayo, who plays for Henderson, seen him there. I just heard Henrik Samuelsson got married and had a little baby in Florida. So it's great to see guys moving on and taking that next phase of their life. And it's good to see Curtis still playing in New Jersey.
How, I know we've talked about this before, but we're almost 11 years since the Memorial Cup. What was it, 3 straight years in the final? I think in 12. Like, I know there's fluctuations in junior hockey, but like you guys were good for 3 years. Like, sometimes that's a pretty good window, right? Like, how much do you appreciate that you got to be a part of that team? Like, that was such an awesome, and still in that old building, you guys probably didn't have half the dressing room the Oil Kings have now at Rogers Place. I mean, to me, that was such a special team and a special time.
Well, if you think about my time with the Oil Kings here, the 4 years from 2010 to 14, they were going from a transition of a real young base of players from that 2010 season where they won like 10 games. And then the next year, I think myself and Steve Hamilton and our group took over that group. We had 35 or wins, whatever it was. But from there, we really found our momentum and some good acquisitions to our team. And just obviously goaltending is a key factor with Tristan Jarry and Laurent Brossoit. And we just found a way, like we had a great balance of players, some star-studded players. And, you look at the Dylan Rucks, the Michael St. Croix of the world that got us through that 2012 season. And then you got Curtis Lazar coming in with Griffin Reinhart and then picking up Henrik Samuelsson. It was just a perfect storm with guys coming in. Now, I used that experience when I went into Oshawa, my first year in Oshawa 2 years ago. it was an absolute nightmare when I first went to training camp. But we had a young Beckett Seneca at 16. We had a young Ben Danford at 16. And then we took those guys last year, and it's kind of the same formula. We brought in a few pieces, and you ended up going right to the finals against London, which we didn't have much of a chance. But it was just you see these players grow from summer to fall, and it's incredible. And we had that great growth, and we had some great acquisitions from 12, 13, 14. It just, like the 13-14 team was the best team that we had. It wasn't the most talented, but it was the best group of players that played for each other right throughout the season. That was the summer I think Christian Peltz died over in I think it was or Slovakia or something like that. But if you look at our 2012 team, we had a highly skilled, talented team, and went into that Memorial Cup at Shawinigan. We didn't have a chance. So, and taking some lessons that we learned in those situations, moving on to the next Memorial Cup really helped us.
I know we got to go here, but that 13-14 team, that might be the most scrutinized I have ever seen a non-Oilers hockey team in the city, because the expectations were so high. And I remember it must have been a week, because I started doing the evening show, right? But I was also on Stoff show before that. But I remember going to a game and you guys lost. And there was like a huge scrum around, like almost an Oilers-sized scrum after the game. And I think, one of your defensemen had missed a puck at the blue line and gave up 2. Like, it was a regular season game. And like you were getting grilled, like, how could you lose a game? Like the expectations were so you dealt with, like you said, the loss, the death of a player, your own internal expectations. And I think the city and the fans, and a lot of fans who maybe wouldn't have watched junior hockey, got following you guys, but also expected, like, they're so good. Like, how come they're not 70-0 or whatever games you guys played?
Well, you talk about the expectation fans, right? So that rolls over to the World Juniors. You talk about the fan base that watch these kids go to the World Juniors, and these are just kids. And I think at the end of the day, like, that's junior hockey.
Yeah. And
kids make mistakes, and I think that's one thing. It's probably helped me as a coach is, hey, it's a game out there. There's another team trying to win. Mistakes are going to happen, and you can't get upset about every mistake. You just chalk it up to experience, because at the end of the day, the kids got to refocus and get on to the next shift. So those situations back then in 12, 13, 14 have definitely helped me grow as a coach going forward.
All right. Well, Derek, this is incredible to catch up with you. I appreciate that we've stayed in touch ever since you left the Oil Kings, and thanks for making time for my show today. It's nice for me that I can text you, last night and be like, hey, you're coming on my show, and you're like, okay, I guess I am.
Congratulations on the new show. I didn't know you're on air like that. So anytime you need someone to talk, I'm always available.
Big game tomorrow. We'll keep an eye out on that one, and all the best into the postseason as well, Derek. Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch.
All right. Say hi to all the fans in Edmonton for me.
Right on. Derek Laxdal checking in. He was the answer to a trivia question last week.
That's right.
To give away some Oil King seats to a low. So that's your first interview with Derek. Sorry, I know I asked most of the questions, but I've known him for a while. I love talking to Derek, right? Because as you saw, he's
very passionate,
thoughtful, and like I loved how, well, this happened and that helped me do this, and this happened and now I can use that experience for this. I found it interesting what he said about the travel in the Ontario. What did he say? They spent 6 nights away from their own beds.
Yeah.
And in the dub, it's like 50 to 60.
Crazy.
Like it's so different. And I thought it was interesting what he said about the skill level as well, being a little higher in the OHL.
Well, you just have a bigger pool of players, right? So the odds would suggest that you have more talented hockey players, given that just the population
and
alone.
they have fewer teams too as well, right? So if you have a couple more skilled guys per team playing as line mates, then it makes like the whole team look a little bit better. No, he was great. I'm glad to catch up with Derek for sure. We're off and running. Jason Milne, Reid Wilkins, Zachary Kubish is here as well. We have plenty of Oilers discussion coming up. Brier champion, St. Albert's Marc Kennedy is going to join us in about 15 minutes. Here comes the Coop.
11 games dot the NHL slate. The Avs and Wild drop the puck as the Canadiens and Canucks face off. Then the Panthers meet the Bruins before the Predators and Sharks butt heads. In the WHL, Red Deer and Moose Jaw go at it. The Blades battle the Pats before Seattle hits the road in Tri-City for 3 games around the league. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Saints and former Chiefs safety Justin Reid have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $31.5 million contract. Over $22 million is guaranteed. And Tiger Woods is out indefinitely. He ruptured his Achilles during practice. The Hall of Fame golfer underwent successful surgery to repair the injury, but will focus on recovery for the time being. On the court, Jonathan Kuminga is returning to Golden State on Thursday against the Kings after he's been out since the start of January with a sprained ankle. Tonight, Washington visits Detroit. The Cavs host the Nets. Clippers and Pelicans tip off as the Bucks and Pacers duke it out. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you'll need. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park or call them at 780-467-5014. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out the grand opening sale ends soon.
I just wanna be like somebody else. Shed my skin and escape from my former self. I just wanna tell somebody how it felt.
All right, off day for the Edmonton Oilers. Some people might have said they had last night off as well.
Hello.
The loss to the Buffalo Sabres. The Oilers will play at the Devils tomorrow, at the Islanders on Friday. Both of those 5:30 games. So the Reid Wilkins Show will go from 3 to 4:30. The GCL Oil Stream pregame show will go from 4:30 to 5:30. And then Jay and I will return to wrap up this show from 5:30 to 6. So that is on Thursday and Friday. Plenty of Oilers discussions still to come. We will have the Oil Understood at 4 o'clock. I want to look into some deficiencies about the team. We'll get your feedback as well. Of course, Jay will have his observations and discussion points as the Oilers have 2 regulation wins since January 30th. That is not good. Not very good. They do have other wins, but only 2 in regulation time. Good to have Derek Laxdal on the show. And coming up now in about 10 to 12 minutes, Marc Kennedy from the Brad Jacobs Brier Championship rink will join us. Great final on Sunday. Dramatic, really a weekend full of drama for the Jacobs rink as they got to the top. Jay, great job yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
Was that your first time solo? It was your first time solo doing this show.
Yeah.
Was it your first time solo hosting ever?
Yes.
Well, you did great. You had a good time.
It was fun. The Nasties, they helped out so much. They were very, very thoughtful. We had a lot to discuss. I mean, there was a lot to get to in that hour. So, no, I was...
Well, you had the breaking Ekblad news during the show.
Yes.
How about that, eh?
Crazy. That was... Tommy was in to set up the oil stream pregame show. And, yeah, that story is just incredible.
Yeah. So he's going to miss 2 playoff games. Is that it?
That would be what.
What did he say? I didn't know that was in there.
That's what they all say.
That's what they all say. Yeah.
And like the NHL, to get caught by the NHL testing for performance enhancing drugs is something that's pretty brazen. So it must have been out there. I don't know. It was. What are you going to do? You get one of your top defensemen now to rest for the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And you got Seth Jones to take his spot in the lineup, which isn't so bad.
Woe was them.
Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. It's time for a wing throwdown at the Canadian Brewhouse. Fuego Verde versus Honey Blaze. Who's taking the crown? Hit up the Canadian Brewhouse for wing night. Our house is your house. So, I had a day off yesterday. I was back in Edmonton. So I went to a wedding in Jasper. Brendan Escott got married. Probably a lot of people know who that is. He's on 880 Ched. He's now hosting Inside Sports, the show I hosted for about 11 years. So obviously a good friend of mine that I got invited to his wedding. So it was at Jasper Park Lodge. It was absolutely beautiful. The ceremony was outdoors. Is it Moline Lake?
Yeah.
The one that's right by JPL. So you go into the main entrance for JPL, and then you just go out the back, and there's a lawn area there, and the lake, and there's an island, and the trees, and I think the golf course is off to let. No one was golfing, obviously. Beautiful outdoor ceremony.
Did anyone jump in the pool?
No. In the pool?
Yeah, there's an outdoor pool.
Not that I saw.
Okay.
It could have happened. Not that I saw. So first of all, Brendan's now wife, I think, did most of the organization for the wedding, and this was. Not to disrespect, because there may be friends listening who have been to their weddings. This was maybe the best organized wedding I've ever seen. There was a website. It told you all the times, like, when booking to go and everything, it was like, here's where you can stay. Here are the phone. Like, you just basically had to finish the assignment that they started for you. So the ceremony, it was outdoor. It was a little chilly, but I don't even know if it was 20 minutes. I mean, they got to it. And then it was kind of like, okay, you can do this or do this. So I just sat and had a cocktail before the reception and the dinner started. And it's been a while since I've been to a wedding, but they did the speeches in between the courses of the meal.
God bless them.
So it was like you were served. It wasn't, it was a dessert buffet. Everything else you were served, and you selected ahead of time on the website what you wanted.
Jeez.
So it was like they brought the soup, the salad, then there were a couple speeches. Then it was there was a couple speeches before the meal. I think the soup, then the salad, then a couple more speeches, then the main course. Then Brendan and his wife spoke, and then they were like, go to the dessert bar, chill out for a bit. Dance is going to start right away. And one of the groomsmen who spoke said, "Yeah, I was going to get up here and show a slideshow and try to embarrass Brendan with pictures from his childhood and go on for 20 or 30 minutes." And I was quickly informed that the wedding would be operating on a very tight timeline. So there wasn't a lot of, because I will say this, and I don't know what your wedding was like, but if you're not part of the bride or groom's inner circle, the in-jokes can be a little, and there were a couple, but it wasn't like, here's 20 minutes of jokes, only me and 3 other people in the room will understand. So anyway, a beautiful night, beautiful ceremony, good food, fun stuff. And then I drove back Sunday morning. Now, I don't know if anybody saw what the weather was like.
Well, it was snowing here on Sunday.
Right. It was, now I should say this, I don't highway drive a lot anymore. I obviously grew up in Evansburg, so you'd have an hour into Edmonton. I lived in Lloydminster for 7 years and probably came back to Edmonton twice a month on average for a weekend or whatever. So I've driven on the highway. Lately, I haven't as much. Now, having said that, I would guess even probably experienced highway drivers would have found the conditions Sunday morning to be quite harrowing. So, yeah, get up and there's snow in Jasper, but just kind of a wet snow, and the ground almost looked like there'd been rain as opposed to it being snow piled up. So I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad because I'd been watching the forecast, snowfall warning, all this kind of stuff. I get out of Jasper. Say, okay, the road is wet. Big deal. Well, it was a big deal because about, I don't know how long, maybe 10, 15K outside of Jasper, it was horrific. There were times I could not, you had to really watch as to where the road was. You know what I mean? And there were some tracks for the car that had gone ahead of you. And as people know, probably who've driven that way, it is not 4-lane highway. There's the odd time with a passing lane, but you couldn't use the passing lane. It was too snowed in. So you could not go anywhere near the speed limit. And to be fair, most people were not attempting to. I mean, I think people realized like, oh, okay, so probably most of the way Jasper to Hinton, I was going 50. It was like a city driving speed. Jeez. And like I said, reduced visibility, blowing snow, and then the additional, the snow accumulating on the highway. And, okay, where's the edge of the road? Where's the yellow line? I'm just kind of hoping here I'm following enough in the tracks. So I found that tough for me. Like, I was a little stressed driving in. And there's probably people listening who drive for a living, whether you're a trucker going across the country or across Western Canada or delivering in or around the city. So I got a lot of respect for the people who drive every day. But man, oh man, that was tough. So that is my off-topic topic for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. What is the most harrowing drive you have ever had? Probably something in a snowstorm.
Well, it has to be. I mean, unless, we don't really have tornadoes here and whatnot. So snow is usually the number one culprit for ruining a day or trip.
Right.
Yeah.
And for driving in.
It's awful.
I remember in 2007, we covered the Allen Cup in Stony Plain, and my station would not put us up in a hotel. So we did 5 round trips, Lloydminster to Stony Plain, in 6 days for the Border Kings games. And after one of their games, there was this freak April snowstorm. So it was me and the camera guy and Kurt Price, the morning show host at New Cap and Lloyd at the time, came with us. And I was driving, and at one point he opened the door and held his head out the door, and we were going quite slow because you could not see. And he said, "I'll open the door and look out, and if you were going to hit the ditch, I'll tell you so you can stop."
Jeez.
But that cleared up after about Manville, and then it was clear to Lloyd. But from Edmonton to, just past Vegreville was pretty awful. Anyway, so that's the off-topic topic. What is the most harrowing drive or scariest drive or worst conditions you have ever driven in? 780-218-9999 is the River Cree inbox. You can post in the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Give us the thumbs up there as well. We're on a pretty good pace to, like Jay did yesterday, get over 100 in the first hour of the show. And you can email Reid at edmontonsportstalk.com. He is on top of the Canadian curling world. Marc Kennedy when we get back.
Tons of action in the NHL. The Lightning and Hurricanes drop the puck in Carolina. And from Winnipeg, the Jets and Rangers face off while Alex Ovechkin and the Caps hit the road in Anaheim to battle the Ducks, having 8 other games to boot. 3 WHL games go down. Tri-City welcomes in Seattle. Regina hosts Saskatoon, and the Rebels butt heads with the Warriors. And Tiger Woods has been hit with the injury bug once again during practice. He ruptured his Achilles and is out indefinitely. The 49-year-old underwent successful surgery to repair the injury with no timeline set for his return. Meanwhile, the Saints have signed Jawan Johnson to a 3-year deal worth about $30 million, $21 million of which is guaranteed. And the Falcons also extended Mike Hughes on a 3-year, $18 million deal. Just 4 games in the NBA. Brooklyn faces Cleveland. Milwaukee visits Indiana. Pistons tip-off against the Wizards. And the Clippers challenge the Pelicans. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy uses the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Brier champ Marc Kennedy on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear, Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Short Park or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right, good to have you tuning in this afternoon. Coob was telling me a bit about his trip to Seattle. I didn't see Coob yesterday. Did you get the lowdown on his trip?
Sure did. We all did. We talked about it yesterday in the third hour a bit. Now I know you were watching the Oilers game. Do you know he went down there solo?
Yeah.
Would you do that? Are you a solo trip guy?
I have, yes.
You have?
Well, I've tried. Okay, I did a solo trip to Vegas to see Leopard about 10 years ago. And then, does it count as a solo trip if you go somewhere where you are then staying with family and friends?
No.
That's
not a solo trip.
I guess I've only kind of gone solo because I couldn't get anybody to come with me to go see Leopard. No one wanted to travel to Vegas. I don't know. It was pretty fun. You know what was fun was watching this guy and the Jacobs rink win the Brier on Sunday. An incredible accomplishment against an incredibly tough field. St. Albert's Marc Kennedy, the third for the Jacobs rink, joining us here on the Reid Wilkins Show. Mark, how are you doing, my friend?
Reid, I'm good, pal. How are you?
Good. Thanks for doing this over video. Are we getting one of our in the car interviews that are becoming more and more famous on this show?
Thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm not gonna lie; it's been a chaotic couple days here, so I'm happy we were able to do this, and thanks for understanding if I'm doing it via phone, via truck.
No, that's awesome. We're glad you're embracing the video element of the show as well. But of course, a lot of people listening on the audio stream too. I kind of don't even know, as much as we've talked over the years, I almost don't know where to begin with this. Like, you basically had 4 elimination games in a row to win the whole thing.
Yeah, it was an intense weekend. Kind of a strange. I don't mind the format, but by the time we got to the 4 elimination games, we were 8-1. So it's not like we were struggling or having a rough week and put ourselves in a bad spot. We just, we lost that play-in game, which is a really big game. And so there we were, 8-1, and our backs against the wall, and we had to win 4 straight. But the nice thing is we had been playing quite well, so we really didn't have to change much. Maybe it just fine-tuned our focus a little, knowing that we didn't have another safety net. But yeah, our last 4 games were probably our best team games of the year, and that's kind of what we had been working towards. And, we got a couple breaks along the way, but all in all, I was pretty happy with the way we performed in that final couple days.
All right. Do you want to go first here, Jay?
You're in your truck, okay? And the word on the street is that you drove to Kelowna, drove home, and you drove home with the tankard in the back seat of your truck. Is that true? Yeah. And if so, is the tankard still right behind you?
It's not. It got dropped off. No, I'm sorry. It got dropped off in Calgary on the way home. Ben and Brett had an event last night with ATB, one of our big sponsors. They had a big event with Calgary Flames. So the tankard got left in Calgary there, but I did drive home with it, and I had a chance to reacquaint myself with it. It's an old friend that I haven't had a chance to hang out with in about 9 years. So it was a pretty awesome drive home to just take in the long week that it was and the journey that we've been on as a team. And yeah, it was a very, very enjoyable 8 hours.
Well, the Cougs got a picture up of you guys celebrating with the tankard. And I mean, that trophy is something else. I mean, the history alone on that trophy, but the size of it, the sheer size of it. Now, Mark, I want to know what is the process? Because you see it in the locker room with the Stanley Cup, the Grey Cup, everybody's pouring something in there and having a sip of whatever libation it is. What's the process? That's not a single man job. That's got to be a 2, if not 3 person job to be able to drink out of that, correct?
Yeah, it's usually a 2-man job, but that night we had some guys that were pretty fired up, especially Brad and Brett. I'm pretty sure they were able to do it on their own, but yeah, that's a big honking trophy. That's a lot of years of tradition, and that's what kind of makes it cool, right? You take a look at some of the hearts on there and some of the names. It's almost 100 years old, so it's pretty historic trophy, and pretty lucky to be able to hang out with it for a while. It was full of beer that night, I'll tell you that much. Until I went to go drink it, I haven't had a drink in 8 years. So but my teammates have been pretty good. They dumped it out and threw in some soda water for me. So we all had our moment with the trophy, and it's pretty awesome. I remember the first time we won it with Kevin Martin. It was 2008, and we won it back to back, 2008, 2009, and I had it at home all summer. I think Curling Canada was wondering where it was, and it was in my bedroom. And we took some pictures with it with my oldest daughter. She was just a baby. She had just been born in 2008. And so we win it again, and now she's 16.
Oh my!
And
gosh.
When we won, yeah, I know, it's crazy. When we won Nicole, my girls were at home, Aubrey and Brecken, and she showed me the phone, and they were crying at home watching it on TV. So it's pretty cool perspective for me to watch it from that age to now, when my girls kind of realize what it is and how big a deal it was. And yeah, it's been a pretty cool journey for me.
Mark, I just have one more, and then I'll let Reid get back to you here. But in sports, it's always talked about your mental edge, your mental toughness. And I mean, you guys have quite a crew there, and it's championship pedigree on Team Alberta. But I wanted to bring you back to that final game and just ask you something about, in the 7th end, Dunstone missed a shot that led to you guys being able to steal one. Followed that up by a pretty tough miss in the 9th end as well. But when that happened in the 7th end, mentally, did you and your team think, okay, that there's a little bit of a crack here? Can we expose this and take advantage of it?
Yeah, absolutely. They had played a terrific game. We weren't playing bad by any stretch, but for them to be one up with the hammer playing 7. We need a break. We need something to give and to give us kind of that window of opportunity. And yeah, we played a great end and Brad made a great shot, but sometimes in curling, you're still at the mercy of the hammer, and a player like Matt Dunstone, who had played great all week, you're expecting him to make something great. And so when he misses it, yeah, absolutely. And a veteran team like us, we know we're probably not going to get another opportunity like that. So let's use it. And I think that gave us a little bit of momentum. And I think we probably outplayed him in the last 3 ends. And that was the difference in the game. And Jay, you talk about the mental toughness. I've always said, and when I talk to the young kids, the thing that makes curling so difficult is, in some of those games, they're 3-hour games, and it's easy to stay focused. But in those 3 hours, man, your mind races. You're thinking about what happens if we win, what happens if we lose, what happens if I miss this shot, and it's a real challenge to just keep yourself in the moment and focus on what you can do to help your teammates right here, right now. That's the biggest challenge when you get in an environment like that. And I think our experience really helped us in that moment. Like, we have 4 guys that have been there, done that for a long time. And, we don't really have a fear of losing anymore. And that makes a big difference in just allowing you to enjoy the moment, not worry too much about what happens, and just really try to give it your best and take whatever comes at the end of the day.
Okay, so you talked about staying focused, and before you came on, I was at a wedding on Saturday, drove back from Jasper Sunday morning, so I saw the last 5 ends of the win over Gushu, and you guys were running out of time, and actually then they got close as well, and obviously you guys are mic'd, and you guys are okay. We got how hard was it to stay focused with that extra stress? I don't know how often you get into that situation where you're down to seconds, but how much of an extra stressor was that on top of the shots you had to make?
Did you say you only watched 5 ends? Are you a part-time fan?
I watched 5 ends.
Sports fan?
I watched the last 5 ends of the Gushu game and then the entire final, Mark.
Like you host a sports show.
I do, yes.
Kind of,
and we have a TV on in here, and we had the Brier on all week.
Yeah, we had it on all week. True, that's true story.
He loves giving me a hard time.
I do. I'm teasing you. Hey, it's a part of our game. It happens. We've been arguing for years that with the 5-rock rule and 10 ends and how complicated the game gets and how, you guys saw the level of play and how great it is. Like, one mistake can cost you the Brier. So you're trying not to make any errors, and time ticks away. And we've said for a while that we don't have enough time to play these games. It is an absolute rush to get it done. And your most important moments usually come at the end, and you're hoping you have a little bit of time on the clock to get it done. But sometimes you don't, and you got to deal with it. And the biggest key in those moments is, okay, let's be as decisive as possible and as in control of our emotions as possible. Because when you look at the clock and it's low, the tendency is to panic. And if you're panicking, you're making bad decisions. And if you're panicking when you're throwing the rock, that's when you really lose focus on, the things that you should be top of mind, your slide lines, your weight control. Those are the things that get away from you if you don't have experience in that situation. So again, I think our experience, we've all been low before on time. It's just, okay, don't panic, just focus, make the right decision here, and really focus on trying to make the shot. I thought we did that really good considering the time constraints. If anything, I think, and Brad Gushu's probably the greatest curler of all time, in my opinion. And I think he misses that shot 1 out of 25 times. But I think the clock got to him a little because he had quite a bit of time. And then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he didn't. And when he got in the hack and at the end there, I think he was maybe a little surprised at how low his time was. And that may have led to him throwing that last rock a little bit heavy, and he missed it. And, it happens. It's a sport. And, we sometimes you need some breaks to win big events, and we got one.
So is it 40 minutes per team?
We get 38 minutes.
38 now.
For 10 ends. Yeah. When we play our tour events, the Grand Slam events, which are the biggest events on tour, we get about 4 minutes and 15 seconds per end.
Okay.
And when we go to an Olympics or a Worlds or a Brier, we only get about 3 minutes and 45 seconds an end. So that 30 seconds per end over a 10 ends obviously can really add up.
Yeah.
So there's lots of discussion about how to make it a little bit easier, but the game constantly gets pushed in a direction for television. Obviously, they have a window that they have to fit it in, and they also want to push the entertainment value by adding more confusion and strategy to avoid blank ends. So as a player, it's kind of a double whammo that we're going to be short on time and the game's going to get more confusing. So we're trying to find a healthy balance here going forward, but it's tough.
Okay, I just got 3 relatively quick ones for you. Did you mean to throw your stones that close to the guard in the 10th end?
No. Well, here's the thing. The answer is yes. Like, I did have to get tight to the guards to make those shots. But at the end of the day, we've got 2 of the best sweepers in the world, and I know, and Brad's a great line caller. So you're definitely playing it tight. You have to. You're in the 10th end of the Brier. You got to make some big shots. But that last one, I don't think we were planning on having it that tight to the guard. And, Reid, you and I have talked about this. This is a game of millimeters sometimes. And if that ticks that top red, it's probably a completely different outcome. But on this day, we got by. For whatever reason, the curling gods were on our side. We hair by that rock, and it ends up being a really tough shot for them to remove and gives us the deuce and the win. So I've been on both sides of those, and it was nice to be on that side of it.
Did you get in trouble for yelling F yeah into the live mic after you guys made a shot against Gushu? I'm pretty sure that was you.
It's usually not me on this team.
Okay, maybe it was somebody else. But are you told try not to swear because of the live mics, or is it like, how do you regulate that?
Oh,
athletes? Yeah.
Well, listen, it's tough, man. But we have an agreement. We have a competitor's agreement that we sign, and we're aware of the fines if we do something that isn't within the code of conduct, and that includes swearing. Okay. I got my first fine. I got my first fine ever at a national championship, Reid, and it wasn't for swearing.
What happened?
What'd you do?
What happened?
I refused to wear a microphone for one of the games. I was doing my own little silent protest, and I got fined for it. Yeah.
Wow. Was it worth it?
Big juicy gossip. Absolutely.
Was that this year? When was this? This must have been years ago.
No, this was this year. I got the notice today. I got the $150 fine today.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. You're a bad
You started
boy.
GoFundMe. We'll see if our
I'm bad.
You're bad.
I'm bad.
Can we ask what you were protesting?
Yeah. Tell us more.
Yeah, here I'll tell you. So we were in the round robin, and we were 6-0, and up to that point in time, we'd only had one television game. And you guys can understand in our amateur sport how important television time is for sponsors, and awareness of our team and our brand. So we were 6-0 and only had one TV game up to that point, and 2 of the other teams in our pool were up to 4 games on TSN.
Yeah.
And the next game that was being broadcast, we were 1,000% sure was going to be us. And it wasn't. They chose one of the other 2 Saskatchewan teams again for a broadcast. So at this point, I kind of had it figured that they had it out for us for some reason. Maybe it was because of all of the F-bombs that we drop. I don't know. But I just made a little statement and said, I'm disappointed that we're not the television game against Quebec and that you decided to show that other game. So in silent protest, I'm not wearing a microphone.
Oh, amazing.
And I paid for it, and it was worth it.
Okay. Wow. We're getting the scoop here.
Wow, this is breaking news.
Real badass, eh?
You are you are a bad man. You are a bad man. All right, I know you got to go. Final thing. You'll be excited about this.
Yeah.
You missed a perfect opportunity to mock me because 3 weeks ago, when was it?
Oh yeah,
I curled for the second time in my life. We had our Lloyd Sad Insurance Brokers fun spiel. I'm terrible, though I liked sweeping because I get very determined and I just bear down. When I throw a rock, though, I would seriously like to go out on the ice with you. Like, my aim wasn't bad, but I had no idea how far I was throwing the rock. And
yeah, weight control is the hardest part.
I have no idea. Like, I felt like I was pushing out of the hack really hard, and then it doesn't even make the hog line. And then the next one, I feel like, oh, I didn't push hard enough, and it goes all the way through. So that's what you'll have to teach me.
Yeah, we'll have to spend a little bit of time on your weight control. I want to know if there's any video of this. I would love to see this on video.
There's video of Dustin. I will say this, to be a little bit arrogant. my form, like I look like I curl more than I do because I'm a very good mimic. So like I can get in the right position even though I can't do it. Like even my buddy who won the Bonspiel, he works at Global. He's like, Jesus, like you look like you curl every weekend.
Oh,
on. I was like, I don't though. I'm just a good athlete.
Here, Mark?
I just have good athletic posture and form, right? But I can't actually execute the shot, but I look like I should be good.
Stop it.
He did say that.
Yeah, that's. Did somebody pay him to say that? Maybe.
Yeah.
No, this guy would not compliment me unless.
Because here's the thing: some people feel when they come out of the hack, they're like, "Wow, I am graceful and flexible and athletic, and this is great." And then they see themselves on a camera, and they're like, "I look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame coming out of the hack."
Yeah.
So is this one of those scenarios?
Well,
I gotta see.
I will.
My form was okay.
My
form was okay.
I have video of me coming out of the hack. My wife was there. I'll gladly send it to you for critiquing. But I can attest. Reid was a smooth curler out there. He looked the part. He played the part.
But I could not execute the part.
But he could not execute, and a lot of us couldn't execute. It's tough.
It's tough. Hey, it's a humbling sport.
Yes.
It's a sport that people watch on TV and they're like, man, I can do that. These guys aren't that good. I'm going to make the Olympics. And then they step out on the ice one time and they're like, oh my God, this is impossible.
It's impossible.
It's a very humbling sport, but I think you just came up with a great idea. What about the Reid Wilkins show Bonspiel? Raise some money for charity. I'll come out with you and I can actually, check out your form and I can decide who's better, Reid or Jay.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to have you on my team. You'd have to probably skip though, which I know you're capable of doing as well. All right. Thanks for doing this. I know you're doing a ton of media today and catching up with family and friends and enjoying the moment. When's Worlds again? Is it 3 weeks?
We're actually off in 2 weeks. Yeah, we start in about 2.5 weeks. So It's coming up pretty quick. We've got, I'm off to the U15 provincials up in Grand Prairie this week to coach my daughter, Brecken, who's in the truck with me.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
We're off to curling practice right now. And then we've got the Marc Kennedy Junior Classic next week, which is officially the largest junior curling bonspiel in the world. We've got 80 teams in 4 clubs. So that's coming up next week. And then the day after that, I head to Calgary for a couple of days of training and then straight to Moose Jaw. So it's a little bit of chaos, Reid, but you know what? At this point in my career, I am going to cherish every single moment of this, and we will do everything we can to try to bring some hardware back home from Moose Jaw and represent the Maple Leaf proudly.
Thanks for being so generous with your time. Congratulations. We're very happy for you. Go get it at Worlds. We'll talk to you soon, Mark.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I love the show. All the best to you, CJ.
Brier champ Marc Kennedy. How's that? Yeah, he's awesome. Like, talk about a guy who he makes you want to watch curling, right? And that's okay. Look, anything that's not hockey in this country, or not the NHL, even.
Yeah.
You know, what do they say? Well, they need to have well-spoken athletes. They need to have the athletes sell the game, and it can't be just with their performance. They have to be personable and funny and explanatory and humble yet confident. Like that's Mark. He makes you, and I'm not saying he's the only person like this, and curlers I find have been great to deal with over the years, but he makes you want to watch the sport, learn about the sport, and cheer for him, or find someone to cheer for, whatever.
Well, add to that the bad boy reputation now.
That he's been fined. That's shocking.
That's a bad man walking right there. That's a bad man walking.
That's a bad man sweeping. That's what we'll have to, that'll be the movie about Marc Kennedy.
Can you imagine he
bad
becomes
man sweeping.
The bad boy of curling.
All right. Awesome stuff.
Awesome interview.
We're off and running. First hour of the show. Well, we've gone a little over an hour. The Oil Understood is coming up. We got a break, and we got the Coop first.
The Lock Shop.
Bruce, you collect stuff? He goes, do I collect stuff? I collect everything. I was like, come on. He's got rooms in his house. He's got like his Washington Capitals room and his Anaheim Ducks room.
What about wrestling memorabilia? Like, does he have a bunch of little figures? Does he have like a few championship belts?
I would be confident enough to put my home for my family on the line and then walk into Bruce's house blind and be like, there it is.
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Play more tables and games.
Play more tables and games. Make the most of your fan game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you gotta do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your fan game. Play more tables and games.
PlayMoreGames.ca.
The Penguins challenge the Golden Knights. Ottawa hits the road in Philly. The Blue Jackets and Devils face off before the Canadians meet the Canucks, having 11 games around the NHL. And the WHL sees 3 games. The Blades and Pats duke it out. The Americans take on the Thunderbirds, and Red Deer visits Moose Jaw. In the women's game, it's a Charge and Frost hitting the ice for the lone PWHL game on tap. Elsewhere, Tiger Woods ruptured his Achilles during practice and is out indefinitely. Woods underwent a successful surgery to repair the torn tendon, but the 49-year-old has no set date for his return. NFL free agency has 2-time Super Bowl champion Justin Reid going from Kansas to New Orleans, signing a $31.5 million deal to play with the Saints for the next 3 years. Mike Hughes has also re-upped with the Falcons for 3 years at $18 million. From LA, it's the Clippers and Pelicans hitting the court while the Bucks and Pacers tip off. Brooklyn meets Cleveland, and the Wizards go toe-to-toe with the Pistons, having 4 games around the association. I'm Zachary Kubish. That was your sports update. The second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Oh my goodness, great first hour of the show. Derek Laxdal, former Oil Kings head coach, now coaching in the American Hockey League with Coachella Valley, joined us. We just had Marc Kennedy on the show, fresh off winning the Brier about 45 hours ago. And he drove it back in his truck to St. Albert. I think he taking his daughter to curling practice. He's a busy guy. I knew he had the Marc Kennedy Jr. Classic. I did not realize it was now the biggest junior bonspiel in the world. That is awesome.
Unreal.
He's great. Thanks to the compliments we're getting on that interview in the Nasty Chat and on the text line 780-218-9999. The River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, home of the Kitchen Restaurant. All you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. We had the off-topic topic for William Huff of the most harrowing drive or the most difficult weather you've ever had to navigate, or something difficult about driving somewhere, as I had coming home from Jasper Sunday morning. Dan says, Banff to Edmonton, bad snowstorm, no more than 50K the whole way, 6 to 7 hours of white-knuckle driving. That'd be exhausting. And Calvin says the 9th hole at the ranch is a harrowing drive for me. That's pretty funny. Bonus points to Calvin today.
Andrew from Calgary says, I once got caught in unexpected fog on the 401 in Ontario at night.
Oh,
that's terrible.
That is a busy highway, yeah.
Well, she says it was between Chatham and Windsor, so there were lots of commercial trucks headed to Detroit on the highway. It took about 20 minutes to get past it, and even driving under the speed limit was still nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, if you lose the visibility as well.
Well, fog
it's
is
like,
terrible too, and even snow at night, you feel like you're driving in hyperspeed in Star Wars because it's just coming at you so fast. And the fog, your headlights bounce off of it, so it's debilitating to your visibility.
Yep,
terrible.
Well, keep those coming in as well. Hopefully, no two stories that aren't too awful about that, but stories about a scary drive you've had, or whether you had to negotiate, or maybe you were being chased in a horror movie. A lot of horror movies start with your car breaking down, eh?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Or so we've been told.
Well, makes for a good story. Hey, you know what? I wanted to tell you, but I didn't get a chance to. We were at the Butterdome this past weekend, taking in my daughter's relay team. The Ardrossan team finished 3rd out of 200 schools.
Oh, wow.
They did really well. But in between the morning heat, the afternoon heat, and the evening heat, well, in between the morning and the afternoon, we had some time. So we went to White Ave. And I saw the cellar, or the
Did you go to the lobby?
It was closed at that point. But I saw it, and I was like, hey, I want to go there.
There's the lobby.
Couldn't get in, but I was going to. I was prepared to.
Now, did anybody hit anybody else over the head with a baton?
There was no batons over the heads. Like, that video was insane. I don't know. What would...
That's a very unusual thing. It's almost unbelievable. I would almost pass that up as unbelievable.
Is that just frustration that somebody's faster than you? So you just maybe... I mean, you must assume that she knew she was going to be caught.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just maybe a little bit of panic or frustration, because I don't think that runner went into that race thinking, oh, if someone passes me, I'll hit her with the baton.
Must have been personal or something. Maybe they, they're from rival towns.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
like each other, because she smacked her over the head. For those that don't know what we're talking about, there was some track race, women's race
Where was
down
it again?
in the U.S., I believe, and a lady passed her in the relay, so she just said, well, screw this, I'm going to whap you over the head with my aluminum baton.
It was in Virginia High School.
Crazy.
Yeah, 4x200 meter relay. Yeah, very, very, very strange. And then the runner that got hit got concussed. Don't do that, folks.
No batons over the head at the Butterdome on Saturday.
No, it was nice and clean. All right, read at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Have a limerick here from Tube Socks. The Oilers all set for a cruise. Found yet another way to lose against a weak foe. They put on a show of baffling mistakes and miscues. And what a perfect way to segue into the oil understood for GCL Diesel. Providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel? Understood. Okay. Well, do we really understand what's going on with the Oilers?
Nope.
It's quite a transformation, isn't it? And I suppose that's the second time this year we're saying that, because the first 21 games weren't very good. October wasn't very good. There were ups and downs in November. And then they had a 29-game run in which they went 22-6-1. And we were saying, what a transformation from the start of the year. And now we're saying, what a transformation back to, quite frankly, a below average, if not downright poor hockey team, if you look at the record. I'll say this. Last night's game in isolation, I mean, if the Oilers had gone 5-1-1 in their previous 7 games and then lost last night, sure, it's always frustrating to lose, but I think maybe you'd be saying, okay, they outshot them, they outchanced them, they hit a lot of posts, they made a few too many mistakes, and they finally lost one. But we're seeing now, really since January 30th is the cutoff line I'm using, that we're seeing a team that loses far more often than it wins, and hasn't really won convincingly, or in my mind, solidly in a long time. I mean, even Saturday's game.
But they had an opportunity to do that.
To put that one away, and they couldn't.
5-1, and they couldn't. They barely hung on to win 5-4.
Since January 30th, they are 5-8-1. Only 2 of the wins have been in regulation. So the Dallas game and the Carolina game. maybe the Montreal game, they actually played pretty well, and maybe most nights you win that one in regulation. But this has not been a good stretch for the team. So, we talked about how that amazing 29-game run, they were the best team in the league during that time. Since January 30th, their points percentage of .393, fewer than 40% of their points they've been able to accumulate, is the 28th best in the NHL over that stretch. In goals for per game, they're at 2.93, middle of the pack, tied for 17th. Goals against is quite poor, 3.79 per game. That's second last in the NHL. So they're not really getting it done at either end of the ice. I want to start off, Jay, because I want to talk about different areas of the game, and I know some people prioritize this. We're going to have other listeners who prioritize this. We're going to have other listeners who say, no, it's only this. But I kind of want to talk about everything, but I'll chop them up. And I want to start with the attack. And let me ask you a question. What forward do you actually feel is going to score a goal?
That's a good question.
Yes.
I don't even know if I feel that Connor McDavid's going to score a goal at times. I mean, Leon Draisaitl would be the most dangerous forward for the Oilers by a mile. Nuge? What? I mean, that's a story in itself. I'm sure you'll talk about it. But no, I know what you're saying. And the answer is hardly any. Hardly any are a threat at any given time.
So 5-8-1 since January 30th, 14 games. Here is the goal scoring by forwards in this 14-game stretch. Leon Draisaitl, 11. Corey Perry, 5. Pretty good, especially when you consider he plays under 12 minutes per game. Zach Hyman, 5. Not bad. Jeff Skinner, 3. He only played 10 of those 14 games. Connor McDavid, 3 goals. 2 of them on the power play. So Connor McDavid has 3 goals in the last 14 games. Connor Brown, 2. Victor Arvidsson, 2. Adam Henrique, 1. He missed a game. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 1. In the last 14 games, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has 1 goal on 21 shots on goal for a 4.8 shooting percentage. Remember, he plays 18.53 per game and is on the power play. And 5-on-5 often plays with Connor McDavid. He has 1 goal and 7 points in the last 14 games.
Jeez.
Matthias Janmark, 0 goals. Kapanen, 0. They've been scratched. Kapanen thrice, Janmark once. I won't count the new guys. Vasily Podkolzin has played all 14 games that we're talking about. 0 goals, 12 shots on net. Corey Perry plays 10 more seconds per game than Vasily Podkolzin. And quite frankly, Perry hasn't been higher up in the lineup most of that time either. So yeah, I would say after Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, is Corey Perry the 3rd best offensive threat on the team right now? And while that speaks well to Perry, how well does that speak to the forward efficiency, the scoring efficiency of the forwards lately?
Not well. And you got to, Draisaitl has 11. Connor McDavid has, you said 3? Corey Perry has 5, and he's not playing on the power play.
That's a good point.
Those would be even strength
That's a very
goals.
good point.
That's incredible.
Yeah. He has 1 power play goal. Yeah. Out of the 5.
It's just not good enough. And Reid, I don't want to derail this, but I think this will add to what you're saying. Coach Mike in the River Cree inbox says through 64 games last year, the Oilers had 229 goals for and 182 goals against.
Okay.
This year, it's 207 goals for and 189 goals against.
Is it the same number of goals against? What's the goals against difference?
They have 7 more goals against, and they have 22 less goals for.
So that's interesting, right? As much as we talk about the defending, which we are going to talk about,
I know, but
there are
big
problems
thing.
there. But yeah, that's a big thing. And so again, I'm not ignoring the defensive side of the game or the goaltending or the miscues or the checking or anything like that. I'm just starting with the offense. Trust me, we got an hour and a half left on the show. We're going to get into some other things. But I guess my argument is, because I always try to look at the whole thing, right? I'm not a big, I'm fine pointing out individual errors, and I recognize some problems might be worse than others. But I also don't want to let parts of the game off the hook when I think, if they were losing 6-5, 7-5, I would say, okay, it's goaltending, it's penalty kill, it's defending. But there's games in which they have lost in which there was not a lot of offensive thrust. Now, last night, I will say this, they had a lot of chances. And I always say don't count goalposts because they're just shots that were going wide. But when you hit 5 in a game, there's a little bit of puck luck there. And you might want to say they had some chances. But I will also say, are the forwards, or I guess you can include the defenseman if you want to include the forechecking as a five-man unit, is the attack really wearing other teams down? Are they really spending a lot of time in the other team's end consistently in terms of, all right, we didn't score in the last 3 minutes, but we rolled all 4 lines and the puck was in the other team's half of the rink the entire time. Like all they could do was flip it out to center and we would regroup and come back in again. Are the Oilers really doing that?
I don't think so. I don't think they're able to maintain a cycle, where they're just working it on the half wall, down on against the boards and putting shots on net, getting chances. But it's funny. You see every other team that comes in here do it pretty successfully. And they're not, when the odd time they do cycle, they're making it tough on those defenders. But it's not consistent enough.
Right.
This team, I was saying earlier to you, is constantly inconsistent.
And I look at little windows of opportunity, little moments where there's a chance to execute. And quite frankly, I thought they were gifted 2 power plays last night on atrocious calls. Who was it that got cross-check in the second period? Was it Arv? I don't remember now. Somebody got cross-check going behind. Maybe it was Hyman. That wasn't a cross-check. Dallin got called for cross-checking. That was not a cross-check. That was absolutely atrocious. And then the call on McDavid with about 5 minutes left that gave them a late power play. That's a terrible call. McDavid's holding the guy's stick. Now that's what he does, but he usually doesn't do it that blatantly, and Buffalo gets called for hooking. Now, while those are bad calls, you got to score on them if you want to win. And teams that are going well and clicking score on those power plays and say, yeah, thanks for the penalty call. Too bad, other team. We got no mercy. We're going to beat you. I know they did get a power play goal, but the power play fails in key opportunities. And then plus 5-on-5, there's not enough. I don't think there's enough consistent forechecking and offensive. I keep using that word, offensive thrust, offensive power. And then when they do get a chance, it doesn't go in. And I realize there were some posts, and somebody put in the nasty chat, if Connor Brown scores on that one, if the Oilers could ever go up 2-0, it might have changed the game. Fair enough. Last night's game in isolation wasn't the worst game of the last 14, but we saw problems in that game that are indicative of problems we've seen really since the end of January. So that's what I have to say about the forwards and the lack of production up front. Again, Pud Colson, 0 goals. Nugent Hopkins, 1 goal. Even McDavid with 3. Third liners, Janmark, Henrique, Brown, one each, right? There needs to be more.
Yep.
All right. We'll continue discussing. 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox if you want to chime in. You can jump into the nasty chat on YouTube. Continue to give us a thumbs up. Let's get to 100 as quickly as possible here, and then we'll worry about word of the day territory. Here comes the Coop.
Games dot the NHL slate. The Avs and Wild drop the puck. The Canadians and Canucks face off. Then The Panthers meet the Bruins before the Predators and Sharks butt heads. In the WHL, Red Deer and Moose Jaw go out at the Blades battle the Pats before Seattle hits the road in Tri-City for 3 games around the league. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Saints and former Chiefs safety Justin Reid have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $31.5 million contract. Over $22 million is guaranteed. And Tiger Woods is out indefinitely. He's ruptured his Achilles during practice. The Hall of Fame golfer underwent successful surgery to repair the injury, but will focus on his recovery for the time being. On the court, Jonathan Kuminga is returning for Golden State on Thursday against the Kings. He's been out since the start of January with a sprained ankle. And tonight, Washington visits Detroit. The Cavs host the Nets. The Clippers and Pelicans tip off as the Bucks and Pacers duke it out. The sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their showroom offers all the best and latest in flooring, tiles, and area rugs. Tell them EST sent you for 10% off your next purchase. You can shop in-store or online at ParamountFlooring.ca. The Reid Wilkins Show rolls on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
Missing the course? The Canadian Ice House is here to keep your skills sharp. Trackman golf simulators are open. Real golf action right in downtown Edmonton. Don't let the off-season slow you down. Visit us in-store or check out thecanadianicehouse.com for all the details.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
Tommy Gunn's Barbershop is more than just a barbershop. It's a top-notch, tailor-made experience from check-in to check-out. Get a precision haircut, a classic shave, or a facial to step up your style. Just walk in, relax, and let Tommy Guns take it from there. Find comfort in knowing their team follows the code, which is their commitment to care for you as a customer. Check out Tommy Guns today, in-store or online at TommyGuns.com to bring out the best in you. Tommy Guns, where every cut is done right every time.
Jay Milne on the vocals. Is this Brody or North Shore?
It's all you ever do.
What's this one called?
What is this one called? Sellout Queen?
Nice. Did you write the lyrics?
No.
Oh. Did you write any lyrics?
No.
What did you do?
Sung, baby.
Just sang.
I was a singer, baby.
Scott in the Nasty Chat says, Oilers want to be fancy without the grit and effort. It's like they don't want Bush bombs on the power play either because they lead to difficult contested puck retrievals. 97 skates laps like he is sponsored. Like an F1 car. We're going to discuss a little F1 later on in the top three. The word fancy, what do we say all the time? Simplify. Now, teams are trying to defend. And I do think sometimes you have to make difficult or creative or thoughtful plays to attack. But yes, get the puck into the zone and get it to the net and have some determination to get to that difficult area and sometimes turn into a fullback and get it across the line that way.
Well, what they do on the first power play, excuse me, when Evan Bouchard scored, They put pucks on net.
Won the face-off and shot it.
Right? Simplify.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. Reid, we were... we'll get back to the Oilers here, and because there's a lot of discussion here. It's not just what Reid mentioned last segment. There's a lot more to discuss. Dudley was in today. He was the text of the day on the morning show, so we met him here. And you'd asked him. You said, make sure you send a limerick,
right,
for the afternoon show. So Dudley has done it. A limerick from Dudley Coob. Coob, a limerick from Dudley.
Oh, sorry.
He's setting things up back there. It's all good. I sent in a text just for fun, and Nielsen declared it had won. Then Wilkins decreed a limerick, indeed. So here's one. I hope it's well spun.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
That is very
darn
good.
good.
Little self-retro, little meta from Dudley.
Something tells me that that's not the first limerick Dudley has written.
Well, maybe he went back to work and was like, okay, guys, help me come up with a limerick, and it was a team effort. I don't know. That's really good, though. That is a very, very good limerick.
And he adds, it was nice meeting you, me, and Reid today.
Yeah, it was nice meeting him. He saw the pictures on the wall of
yes, the artwork.
When people come in, there's always something that catches their eye. The pictures, you got a video game machine. Or, well, I guess that's it. We got pictures on a video game machine.
And bobbleheads. Don't forget the
we
bobbleheads.
have the bobbleheads. We have, well, if Gager's here, we have a former NHL goaltender. It's pretty
True.
cool.
True.
So we do have some pretty cool stuff here.
Reid, I want to mention something to you. I covered a lot of Elks football last year with Maddie. We did the pregame show, the Green and Gold kickoff show, and the postgame show.
Right.
And they started out 0-7.
Correct.
And you know what the word or the expression was? Is that they made costly mistakes at the wrong times.
Yes.
Okay, that was the MO for the Elks in their 0-7 start. Can you now apply that to how the Oilers are playing right now?
All right, well, here's a clip from Knobloch last night about trying to eliminate mistakes.
Well, we got a couple days of practice, lots of time for some video, but I don't think any of the video is going to matter. I think we've been talking about it a lot. It's just about guys executing and finding that it's important part of the game. Making a play, making a nice pass, it's important. It's frustrating when some of the guys who aren't contributing offensively are contributing for scoring chances against, which is really hurting us. It's different if you're making those plays and it's leading to offense, and once in a while you get caught. But if you're not creating that offense and you're giving up those chances, that's what's hurting the team.
All right, so what's he basically saying? There's guys who aren't scoring and are on the ice for goals against, or doing things that lead to goals against, which is kind of what we're talking about. I mean, I think, if you're a third or fourth liner and you don't score, or you score every 8th game, you're a 10-goal scorer, okay, that's fine if you're not messing up.
Yeah.
If you're not negative, if you're not leaving the game, I created one chance and contributed to 5 the other way. And that's what is happening. And even a game last night in which the Oilers, let's face it, I think we have to be clear about last night's game. They did outchance the Buffalo Sabres.
Yes.
This wasn't, the road trip where they got beat really bad. Or
this wasn't
the Anaheim game where they got embarrassed.
Yes.
But still, there are reasons they are losing the game. And then, so we talked about the offense, and this sort of, if we go back a zone or to the blue line in the neutral zone, they give the puck away. It's puck management. I mean, the third goal, which I want to talk about other things on that one too, it's inside the offensive blue line. You cannot turn it over there. I mean, preferably you don't want to turn it over at all, but if you lose the puck beyond the other team's net, okay, it's a little different. It's a little different than giving it up at your blue line, and then that can lead to other bad things happening. And we've seen this a lot. Turnovers through the neutral zone, turnovers up high in the offensive zone, and then you're what's the word they use? We're feeding the other team's transition. We're giving them an opportunity when we're leaning offense to just suddenly go the other way, and we're caught or we got to scramble to get back.
Well, the Oilers controlled the first period. They were in control of that game. Stu Skinner, costly error at a bad time, gives up a terrible rebound. Tage Thompson waltzes to the front of the net to pick up the rebound. Was not challenged one bit, but terrible rebound. We cannot not address that.
Yes.
Boom, 1-0. Momentum shifts. The Oilers were in control. Then what turned out to be the eventual game winner, Bouchard flipped that thing around. Just move it around, gives it over, and boom. Tage Thompson scores his second of the game. Like I said, the eventual game winner. Costly errors at costly times.
So we're going to talk about Bouchard again, everybody. I'm sorry. And I've probably said this before. I realize sometimes Bouchard turns the puck over. I realize that's not good. But I have to sneeze. Hang on, Jay.
Bless you.
Oh,
I don't know if you're done.
I get more frustrated by how he played that third goal. So he's chasing the puck back. There's two guys right on him. Now he's in a difficult situation. There's no doubt about that. And I realize he got a tap on the stick. A guy's checking him. Okay, fair enough. My God, buddy, put two hands on your stick. And and I say this, I don't know if I've said it on the show a lot, but I say it, as you know, in the bullpen quite often. What do you learn like in grade 1 in phys ed? The proper athletic stance that applies to pretty much any sport. Volleyball, basketball, hockey, even though there's skates, football at the start of a play, dodgeball when you're a kid, like athletic, what do they call it? The ready position. Feet about shoulder width apart, a little bit of bend at the knees, a little bit lean forward at the waist, and your hands out, right? You're ready. Like in basketball, it's like, okay, you can catch a pass or you can knock a pass away or you can get the ball and shoot. Now, Bouchard at least is trying to skate hard in this one. And we got it up here for on YouTube if you're watching on the video stream. He's like, put two hands on your stick. One hand sweep of the puck. I mean, if he gets back to that puck and even flips it back into the corner.
Yeah, just take it out of harm's way.
Don't try to sweep it away towards the Buffalo net. This is not an offensive position. Oh, I got to get the puck towards the Buffalo net. And even shoot it behind your own goal. Even shoot it behind the net, and then the Buffalo guys got to go and chase it. And yes, there's a puck. Cole's and turnover. There's other things going on. And we're going to talk about the goaltending as well. But that frustrates me more about Bouchard than the turnovers for me. Like, make a harder, more determined play, please.
Well, it's happened so many times, Reid. Now, is this just? And you've talked about this too. There's the upside, and I think what Knobloch said in that clip would almost exonerate Bouchard for that error. Because he scored 3 goals in 5 games. All right, so he seems to be catching a clip here. You're going to make mistakes, but you're going to contribute offensively. Okay, but that's Evan Bouchard. He is a defensive liability. And I asked you earlier in the bullpen, why would you have such a distinct defensive liability trotted out there on the first line, on the first D pairing, night in, night out? Can you not hide him in those situations a bit? Trot him out there on the power play. Make him, call him an offensive specialist. I don't know, but why is he put out there to defend? He's not, that's just not his game. He's not a good defender.
Well, that specific situation obviously started in the offensive zone, but you're suggesting, you're basically suggesting to cut his ice time.
And make it so that he is available and healthy and rested for the power play. Yes.
Right.
But is there nothing, is that rocket science? Am I crazy?
Bouchard, we're buying or selling here. Are we doing buying or selling now? We can do it. Buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. As I'm sure people know, Evan Bouchard is the Edmonton Oilers' ice time leader at 23:32 per game. Ekholm, who wasn't available, was he missed 2 games or 3? I think he's missed 3 now. Yeah,
3,
he did.
3, yeah.
He plays 22. Ekholm's not even on the road trip, eh? Ekholm plays 22:36. So are you saying...
I'd like to see
and
those flipped.
and I want to hear what people say for buying or selling. Do not play Ekholm and Bouchard together, at least all the time, 5-on-5.
Yes.
Play Ekholm and Kulak.
Yes.
Wallman, move him to his other side. That's the number one pairing. Nurse, Emberson, and then maybe Kulak, Bouchard.
Do the job,
Bouchard is put out for offensive zone faceoffs.
100%.
And the power play.
Play to your matchups. Play to what's working for you. He can score, and like I said, maybe he's found something. 3 goals in 5 games. But he's a liability in your own end. And what you said, the hustle, the compete, the drive, the give a you-know-what, just doesn't seem to be there consistently with this one player.
And I know I'm picking out that one play in which, quite frankly, he was in a tough situation. I mean, he's getting chased by 2 guys. But again, other situations, it's like bear down. It's like bear down.
Skate harder and put that thing into the
I don't
corner.
know. He might have been skating as fast as he can. I don't know. But
I don't know.
But yeah, make a harder play on the puck, right? And that's the teams who are usually successful is they make hard plays on the puck, and Bouchard doesn't do that enough. And in that situation, again, that's not a great spot. I mean, he basically would have had to flip the puck back into the corner and then try and go corral it against the boards while he gets hammered by 2 guys. Having said that, that's the NHL sometimes.
Yep.
You got to take hits to keep the puck out of your own net. So if he could have flipped the puck back into the corner, then he goes in there and then he engages in a puck battle.
Yeah.
But the puck's not getting to the front of his own net.
Eat the puck.
Right.
Do something other than put it in harm's way. Do your job first, which is to defend your goal. I mean, are we blinded by Bouchard being a plus 34 player last year with his playoff play, being on the ice late in games during the playoffs? Are we blinded by that?
No, I think he had a better season last year. I think he flat out had a better season this year, and we're waiting for that player to appear again. Really. There hasn't been the offense to make up for, though I know he's still third in the team at scoring, but didn't have a power play goal till he got the empty netter. But anyway, that's just, I mean, it's those hard plays, right? Those really getting on a guy's stick, taking a hit to make a play, putting a puck in a position where you might get crushed, but at least it's not in front of your own net. That's what I'm talking about.
Who's been the Oilers' best defenseman this year? Not expectations versus reality, but who's been the best?
Yeah, I would still say Ekholm.
Ekholm?
Though Nurse and Kulak are having very good seasons.
Right.
But I would probably still give Ekholm the edge, even though...
But you didn't even name Bouchard in the top 3. Right?
No.
So why is there no willingness to move this or shake things up? I mean, geez, it's a Yahtzee roll every time the lineups come out for the forwards, right? Why not switch things up on the defensive side? I just don't get it. If it's not working. And
but again, they keep. I think they keep putting out Bouchard because Paul Coffey sees a younger version of himself in Bouchard, an offensive defenseman who could be prone to making mistakes but could make really spectacular plays.
Yeah, but he hasn't been doing the offense enough.
No, I know.
There's not enough output on the offensive side to make that okay. I can understand that. Yeah, I just see him as a major liability defensively, and why not shake it up?
But I guess the argument to me is like, why break up Ekholm and Bouchard? Is that when it's that Bouchard's apparently been at his best with Ekholm too? That's the other side of this razor, right?
Here's what Penner's Pancake says in the nasty chat: Nurse Wallman top pair, Ek Bouch second pair.
But you still have Ek with Bouch though.
You do, but you're not the top pair. You're not going to be logging the most minutes, right? Like Evan Bouchard should not be playing 26 minutes a night. Not with that.
Unless they're down 3-0 5 minutes in or something like that.
Sure, but just not with not with his defensive capabilities.
Right.
That's my opinion. And I feel like it's going to come to a head here, but it's been this way all year. It's been this way where he's almost been the scapegoat to blame defensively.
Well, look,
but it's becoming reality.
Here's the thing. The Oilers as a whole, to make this a wider scope conversation, the Oilers have been waiting for a lot of players to play closer to their potential.
Yes.
So here are the players that, I'll just go off the top of my head. Here are the players I would say who this season have been not as expected or hoped to some degree. Some maybe to a wide degree, some maybe to a small degree. Okay?
So this is a list of underachieving Oilers.
Underachieving Oilers to some extent. I'm not saying they're all as equal.
You're not ranking them in there.
I'm going to put Connor McDavid on this list.
You have to.
Even though he's still a spectacular, dangerous player. Hyman, Nugent Hopkins. So there's your top line.
That's not good.
Bouchard. I'd probably even put Ekholm on this list slightly. Skinner.
Which
Janmark.
Skinner?
I'm only counting
Just
players who were
forwards.
on the team last year.
Oh, okay.
Henrique, Janmark. Do you put Brown on the list? I mean, it took Brown 60 games to score last year.
That's
but
hard.
Playoff Brown, he's
sure.
like you kind of thought, okay, he's not going to be the 20 to 25 goal scorer we thought he was going to be, but maybe he can be a double-digit goal scorer. And then, players who were acquired, you'd say Arvidsson.
All of them.
And you'd say Jeff Skinner.
Well, Henrique. I mean, he was
I put
re-signed.
Henrique on the original list.
Yep.
So I have 9 players who were on the team last year who are not doing as much as would have been hoped. Now, some of those, like Ekholm, it might be slightly beneath. And I still put him as the best defenseman on the team. And in terms of players who are overachieving from last year or who are better than last year, I guess you'd say Kulak, Nurse, and even Draisaitl.
Yes.
And then maybe Pickard. Maybe. So you
TBD.
have, of the players who returned, a lot of them aren't quite doing as well as last season. So is it unfixable? Then the way I present that, is it amazing that they're in second place in the division?
It is. My concern is that, what did we see during that, 29 game stretch?
Well, we saw more intensity.
But that's just fascinating to me that happened this season.
Yeah.
Not long ago.
Like it was actually difficult for them to lose a game.
Yes. They had swagger. That was a team you say, nah, they got this. No, where is that? How does that just dissolve so fast to now where
a 1-0 feels like the game might be over?
Very well could be.
Yeah.
But then they go out and they come out with they open it up at 5-1 over Dallas.
All right, we're late for the Coob here. Sorry, right. Coob. We got a sports update, and then we're back.
Tons of action in the NHL. The Lightning and Hurricanes drop the puck in Carolina from Winnipeg. The Jets and Rangers face off while Alex Ovechkin and the Caps hit the road in Anaheim to battle the Ducks, having 8 other games to boot. 3 WHL games go down. Tri-City welcomes in Seattle. Regina hosts Saskatoon, and the Rebels butt heads with the Warriors. And it's Tiger Woods being hit with the injury bug once again. During practice, he ruptured his Achilles and is out indefinitely. The 49-year-old underwent successful surgery to repair the injury, but he has no timeline set for his return. Meanwhile, the Saints have signed Jawan Johnson to a 3-year deal worth about $30 million with over $21 million guaranteed, and the Falcons extend Mike Hughes on a 3-year, $18 million deal. Just 4 games in the NBA. Brooklyn faces Cleveland. Milwaukee visits Indiana. Pistons tip off against the Wizards, and the Clippers challenge the Pelicans. The sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding area since '93. Doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they got plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of these messages. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Take your career to the next level with Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program, a perfect tool for professionals looking to advance their role or an organization needing to develop leaders. Learn more about safety supervision, scheduling, cost control, and most importantly, how to lead a team. For more information and to register, visit nate.ca/CLSP to take your career to another level.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Oh my goodness, hope you're having a great afternoon. I almost said Monday afternoon. It's Tuesday afternoon. Back to work for me after I was off yesterday. It was pretty funny. So I listened I didn't go on YouTube. I actually listened. Sometimes I just like streaming the audio.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, well, what do you think Reid is doing?
Yeah.
And you threw out solo gaming.
Yes.
Guess what I was doing?
No.
I was doing some gaming.
Yeah, I nailed it. I
was listening to the show, doing some gaming. It was pretty fun.
You know what? Best friends know each other, Reid.
You really do. I'll have to bring my games to your house for the sleepover.
What were you playing?
I was playing Marvel Dice Throne Missions, which is brand new. I just got it. I kickstarted it a couple years ago. It just came in the mail last week.
What do you mean you kickstarted it a couple years ago and you
it takes that long to get it. Yeah, when you kickstart a game, then they got to produce the game.
Wait, what?
Yes, that's how it works for Kickstarter.
What does Kickstart mean?
That it's crowdfunding.
Okay.
So let's say you and I...
You needed to crowdfund a Marvel game?
Well, it's not made by Marvel. It's made by... But it's got the Marvel license.
Okay.
Yes.
2 years.
Yeah.
Ooh, Liquid Beaver in the River Cree inbox. There's a lot of...
let's do some text, though. Yeah. We're behind.
And thanks for the cinnamon buns, Liquid Beaver. That was very nice of you.
And, of course, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. River Cree Resort and Casino featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays.
You can always tell the vibes of the listeners through the River Cree inbox. I'll tell you that for free. The Liquid Beaver says, you know who is overachieving? Holloway and McLeod, Fogle and Broberg. And that is a fact. All having better years than the slugs we kept. Bronco Nick says, gents, I hope someone offer sheets Bouchard. I doubt it happens, but you never know. 6.1 mil to 9.1 mil is a first, second, and third. Rob from LA says,
hey, LA, nice town.
Yes, he should. No one else can move the puck forward like he can. I would imagine that's when we were talking about...
Well, if he should play that much? Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, that's the other side of it, right? I mean, he does get the puck up the ice.
Stanley in YYC says, I think with Wallman now, they should be able to cut down on Bouchard's ice time. Before that, we really didn't have much in terms of big minute munchers outside of Ekholm and Nurse. The Oilers' most coaches over the last 8 years have struggled managing the ice time of our D-men.
How? I guess would be my question. I mean, what other ice time has been out of whack? I guess would be my question to that.
I like the first point with Wallman. You do have another tool in your toolbox that you can then disperse and maybe lighten the load for everybody. But it's easy to pick Bouchard, and it's easy to look at Skinner, and it's easy to look at the forwards under. Like, this team is just not playing well as a team, as a collective.
Yeah, relative to expectations and relative to how well we saw them play.
To reality.
Yeah.
The reality of what we saw. I mean, on the season, Stuart Skinner is 896.
Right. Yeah,
From February 1st,
my hope was him that he would be 905.
But from February 1st till now, he's 3-5-0 and he's 871.
Right.
That's just not good enough.
No. And my thing is, like, when I talk about the goaltending, I often don't talk about it just individually. Like, I do still think it's an element of how the team is playing.
Yeah.
Even though it's a very, very important position. And the goaltending looked better when the team was playing better. And this is why, as people have noticed, I often don't get into let's discuss every individual goal. And did you see, his skate should have been there. I mean, now you said it, though. Drop the puck on the first goal. And then maybe a bit of a bad break, but the rebound bounced over his stick when he tried to sweep it. But if you catch it, that doesn't happen to begin with. That's why when it comes down to goaltending stats, though, I generally still look at wins and losses. Sorry for being old-fashioned, everybody. And my old buddy Kelly Rudy, he would say, Reid, I had nights I was horse crap, and it was 5-5 after 2 periods. But I just reached the point where I would sit there in the second intermission and say to myself, you got to win 1 period. Beat the other guy for 20 minutes. And Kelly said if I left winning 8-5 or 8-6, I did my job. And so last night, it's 2-2 after 2. Quality of the goals at that point doesn't matter. You can go back and look at them after the fact and say whatever you want. They allowed 1 too many, and Skinner being part of that. Again, what did we talk about 12 days ago? Bobrovsky let in one of the worst goals we have seen in an Oilers game this season. But in the third, Skinner blinked a little bit on the shot by Schmidt, and Bobrovsky didn't allow a goal. So that's why I still look at wins and losses for how good. And yes, that's a product of the team and all that kind of stuff.
Well, it looked like Jake Ottinger. Is he a good goaltender?
Yes.
Really good.
Yes, really
good. He got lit up like a Christmas tree in the first 2 periods on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Then they almost came back and won. But if you look at Skinner, I mean, he's 22-16 on the year. And the last, since February 1st, he's 3-5. So it does not surprise me that as the team goes, is how your goalie's record is. They definitely help each other. It's not everything. It's not the end-all, be-all story, but there's a lot of factors contributing to the Oilers team, who you said have won 2 games in regulation in their last 14?
Yeah, they're 5-8-1 since January 30th. 2 of those wins. So only on 2 occasions in the last 14 has the Oilers' opponent left the building empty-handed. Then we've talked about this. They are propped up by their overtime record, which is a part of the game. I mean, if you're going to go to overtime, you might as well win it. But they have what are they? They're 10-4 in games decided after 60 minutes. 10-3 in 3-on-3 and 0-1 in a shootout. They went to the shootout once. And to look at Vancouver's record, Vancouver's got 11 or 12 overtime losses. You flip that, these teams could be flipped in the standings. YYC No Flames for Me says, how many cups did Kelly Rudy win? LOL. I don't know, YYC, how many of you won? Seriously. The guy was on the 1987 Canada Cup team. He was an elite goaltender in his prime, and he has a lot of intelligent things to say about the game, much more intelligent than the post you put in the nasty chat. Congratulations on irritating me.
It happens. Well, I mean, hey, look, people are fired up. This is what happens. The fans speak up. They get fed up of the way this team's playing and express themselves. That's the beauty of the nasty chat. Say whatever you want on there. Say whatever you want and, keep it PG. But it's a discussion for everybody to have in there. Sometimes the words put in there may get a little bit more run than others. Yeah,
All
LA,
right.
but LA has not been playing well. While they're on a 2-game win streak, but they're 4-3-3 in their last 10. 3 points behind the Oilers, but they do have, they'll have after tonight, I think they're hosting the Islanders. They'll have 1 game in hand on the Oilers. So
Yeah.
Let me guess, that's your game of the night?
Well, we're going to find out when we get back. It's Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne.
The EST Hangout.
McKenna in Medicine Hat. He's really good. His ability to really hold the puck and really quarterback the play, no matter what zone he's in, is really, really exceptional. And he's got great vision, great talent, hand-eye coordination off the charts. But then he's also got a shooter's mentality too.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
$11 games in the NHL, 4 of which getting underway in just a moment. Vegas hits the ice in Pittsburgh. Panthers play the Bruins. Sens and Flyers go at it, while New Jersey hosts Columbus. And in the WHL, Red Deer and Moose Jaw go at it. The Blades battle the Pats before Seattle hits the road in Tri-City for 3 games around the league. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Saints and former Chiefs safety Justin Reid have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $31.5 million contract. Over $22 million is guaranteed. Tiger Woods is out indefinitely. He ruptured his Achilles during practice. The 49-year-old underwent successful surgery to repair the injury, but will focus on recovery for the time being. On the court, Jonathan Kuminga is returning for Golden State on Thursday against the Kings after he's been out since the start of January with a sprained ankle. Tonight, Washington visits Detroit. The Cavs battle the Nets. Clippers and Pelicans tip off as the Bucks and Pacers duke it out. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date. The third and final hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
All right, thanks for joining us this afternoon. If you are on the audio stream, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. We also have the apps, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. I was showing the apps to a couple people at the wedding I was at on the weekend who they were saying, how do we listen to you? I'm like, it's actually quite simple. Click on this and listen to us. Sign up for the podcast for all our shows wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, YYC, no flames for me. We're good. I was just giving you a hard time. I love you. I'm very mouthy. You just have to deal with that sometimes. Think about Jay dealing with me off air for 5 hours every day. I'm always running my mouth.
Yes, always, constantly.
I'm actually quite a. I'm a very. At heart, I'm a very argumentative person.
Are you?
I think I am.
I
like debating.
I think
I like
argumentative is the
people.
worst word, or is not the best word. Sorry. I think you'd like to challenge people on, okay, well, why'd you say that?
Right.
What made you say that?
And I actually want to know why.
Which is shocking.
Because some people, when they ask why, they are trying to start an argument. I actually want to know why.
And if you say, well, because.
Then I will get mad at you.
Then you will.
Then I will get mad at you. And I was being cheeky with YYC no flames for me, who I realized was probably joking because I'm saying, dude, it's a story from an NHL goaltender. I think it has some credibility. That's how he managed a game, right?
I don't think anybody could doubt that Kelly Rudy's a great goaltender.
He was very good.
Yeah.
He was very good. He's a good guy. He did not win a Stanley Cup. He was in a Stanley Cup final with the LA Kings in 1993. Last time a Canadian team won.
Kelly Rudy used to wear like the Artur Zerbe style helmet, right?
Yeah, and he had the bandana,
and then
which
the
was
bandana.
actually a torn piece of T-shirt, I believe.
That bandana was cool.
He tied up and watched.
He was cool.
Yeah,
very nice person.
Yeah, but my point was, and I think YYC no. I love that handle. YYC no flames for me. Win the damn game. Like that's what I always say. What am I saying? Figure it out. Win the damn game. Okay, if you're a goalie, you had a bad period and you don't get pulled, win the damn game. Figure it out. And the Oilers, from really goaltending on out, have not been doing that very often lately.
Dudley says Reid was going to say persnickety.
I was, but I'm not persnickety.
There's only one. There's only room for one persnickety.
Here's the thing, though. I am fine myself with being challenged. But that's why when I present something, I usually have something to back up the opinion.
Yes.
And then if you're like, well, Reid, I don't agree with you, or people are listening, you're stupid, then I'm like, fine, you just don't understand what I'm saying. C-Run now flashing back to the 93 Campbell Conference final between Toronto and Los Angeles. We're probably not going to break that down again, C-Run.
Although we really want to. We just don't have time.
Maybe we'll do it in the spring, the 31st anniversary of that series.
Rip City Step makes an interesting point here, Reid. He says, just fix the PK. That'll mean the bottom six has roles and are feeling good, and the goalies are confident. As the PK goes, so do the Oilers.
Well, I guess you could make that argument after the playoffs last year, because then they only allow 4 power play goals the entire playoffs. It was something insane
Incredible.
like that. By the way, and if you're in the YouTube, if you are consuming the show on YouTube, click the thumbs up button.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
We got to get to 130 thumbs so we can get a word of the day. We're not even 100 yet. We had 50 half an hour into the show.
Well,
people are tardy with the thumbs today. Quit delaying yours and our pleasure. Click that little Fonzie button on the show. All right. Email read at edmontonsportstalk.com as well. The River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant, all-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. I stopped at Entwistle. Well, the Entwistle on the highway.
I didn't
go into the town. I stopped at the Esso.
Okay, so what's the difference between Entwistle and Evansburg?
They're two separate towns.
Yeah. No, you know what, Sherlock, but they're right beside each other.
There's a river in between.
The Pembina.
Yes.
The mighty Pembina.
Yeah, and they're not, and once you get down off the highway, there's like a river valley. So it's not as if it's like...
Did they used to have fights across the riverbanks?
Yeah, there'd be big musket fights. Yeah.
Like the Hatfields and the McCoys.
Yeah, we shoot cannonballs at each other.
Entwistle and Evansburg.
Yeah. But when you go down to Pembina Park, there's an old bridge there. It used to be a 1-lane bridge. I think it's widened now. So there's separation between the two towns. It's not as if you can just walk.
Are they rivals?
I would say no, because here was the crazy thing. Entwistle's in a different school division than Evansburg, so we never played Entwistle in sports.
What?
Yeah, or Siva Beach or anything like that.
That's why.
Yeah.
They should have allowed that.
Yeah.
Get that rivalry going. Okay, let me ask you this. If they were rivals, what would be the one that would bring out the crowd?
Evansburg.
Well,
I think Evansburg has more people and more Grouches. They have a Grouch. I think they still do the Grouch of the Year.
Really? Do they have like a Pembina festival?
The PV Days. I don't know if they still have it. It was Pembina Valley Days. And they spelled Days, D-A-Z-E. I think it used to be the August long weekend.
Of course they would.
I think they probably still have. But that's in Evansburg. I don't know if Entwistle does its own thing. C-Run says was Springfield and Shelbyville. Yeah, except we didn't have a monorail. So yeah, I stopped in Entwistle on the highway, and the old putt and bounce mini golf course / tourist booth I worked in for a couple summers is now like equipment sales or rentals. That was sad.
The putt and bounce?
There was trampolines as well.
Pembina Valley Days. Last year, it was July 12th and 13th of 2024.
Oh, it's in July? I thought it was in August. Okay.
It's at the Pembina Recplex.
Yeah, that's the arena. The Pembina Recreational Complex.
Maybe we should go this year.
Do a show from there?
Is it like a show and shine? You bring your old cars too?
I don't remember. I haven't lived. You remember, I basically moved away from Evansburg when I was 17, and my parents have not lived there since 2005.
I've got an old truck. I'll get it shined up. We'll drive out and do the show live on location from Pembina Valley Days.
Is there a Friday that we can do it on?
Of course. The world is our oyster, Reid.
All right. I think they have to pay us if we're going to go do the show from there.
Technically, they probably should at least pay Dustin.
Well, yeah, us. I mean, Edmonton Sports Talk.
Well, maybe we could promote it.
You never know what we're going to wind up having on this show. It's pretty interesting. Okay, we're over 100 thumbs. We need 28 more. 4 touchdowns worth of thumbs. So get in touch with a couple friends. Tell them to check out the show.
When I first tried Fabergé Organic Shampoo with pure wheat germ oil and honey, it was so good I told 2 friends about it. And they told 2 friends. And so on, and so on, and so on.
Tell 2 friends about Edmonton Sports Talk. Subscribe as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube or wherever else you're getting it. Portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. Craving a quick bite? Try the Canadian Brewhouse Express Lunch. Served in under 15 minutes or it's free. Try the ribeye smash burger or turkey club sandwich. Monday to Friday until 2 p.m. Now what? You're snickering.
Mike outside of Edmonton says, Evansburg has the Grouch.
Yeah.
And he says, did you stop at the Subway / pot shop / liquor store?
I did drive. So when I pulled off, I phoned my parents and drove down that little strip and told them what was there. I also noticed Knighton Junction, which is not Knighton. Knighton is the town off the highway. Knighton Junction is the junction on the highway, has a Subway, an A&W, and a KFC.
Yeah, that's pretty...
I don't think there was a Tim's there, though.
And that's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's
Knighton
like
Junction.
halfway between Evansburg and Edson, about.
Yeah. Trying to pick up that extra business.
I don't know why there isn't, I guess, so is there no Tim's from Stony Plain to Edson? Unless there's a Tim's in Wabamun.
I don't know. That's a good question.
There might not be a Tim's between Stony Plain and Edson, which would be shocking. Unless there was a Petro-Canada at Knighton Junction, maybe there was a Tim's in there. John says the interview with Marc Kennedy was the best I've seen. Thank you. Now, he could be being sarcastic. That's what you can't tell about the writing.
I think he's being quite sincere.
No, I think he's being nice. Mark was great.
And it's nice to see a little bit of a different side of him, right? He's kind of busting your butt. And
he does that all. Well, I get that side of him all the time. All right. At this point, I always feel like I have to apologize.
Why?
Just because people are upset about the Oilers and it makes them sad.
What do you have to do with that?
Because I want people to be happy.
Don't be an Oilers martyr. It's okay. You're just talking about what's happening.
No, but it upsets people. They want the team to do well, and then when we talk about why they're not doing well, they get upset. And then if we don't agree with them on why they're not doing well, they get further upset.
Wait a minute. Do you think that Oilers fans and do you think they'd prefer to talk about the team doing well or do you think they prefer to react to how bad the team's doing when the team plays poorly?
I think most of them would sooner have the team win.
And I find that when the team's playing poorly, you get a lot more back and forth.
Well, because there's problems to discuss.
Yeah.
Right. If things go well, it's like, well, they won.
I wouldn't take that on yourself, Reid. Don't put that on your shoulders, okay? Evan Bouchard is not your
No,
fault.
but I want people to be happy.
Stuart Skinner did not drop that simple wrist shot because of you.
No, I don't. I'm not saying that, but I want people to be happy.
Of course we do. Well, let's cheer.
Well,
them up.
not everybody to be happy, quite frankly. I won't mention any. I won't mention any names or handles. It is time for our game of the night. It is presented by
Play more tables and games.
I love that. From ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for, visit Canada's game room experts. Locations in Edmonton and Calgary are online at playmoregames.ca. My game of the night is indeed the New York Islanders at the Los Angeles Kings. The Oilers will play the Islanders on Friday, and the Kings are 3 back of the Oilers with 2 games in hand. That, for Play More Tables and Games, can I hear it again?
Play more tables and games.
Is my game of the night.
See, I'm still holding out the belief that if the Oilers can get their shtick together, they can catch Vegas. I believe they can. I'm still holding out hope, at least, because I think that would offer... the thought of the Oilers having to face the Kings for the 4th year in a row, I don't like that. I don't know. It's hard to do 4 times in a row.
Yes, I agree.
But if they got first, could potentially play Calgary, which would be awesome. So my game of the night is the Vegas Golden Knights are in Pittsburgh right now. Pittsburgh is on an early power play, but the game is 0-0.
0-0. I like that you're pulling that out. Yeah, am I a bad man? I've almost given hope on them, given up on them passing Vegas. I think I'm a bad man. Because a few weeks ago, I was like, go for the President's Trophy. And now I'm like, just make the playoffs.
I wonder what the Emperor would say about your emotions right now.
Good. I can feel your anger.
Even though I'm not actually angry.
Nah.
I know what you mean. All right, let's rally. Continue to rally with the thumbs up on YouTube. We're at 109, so we need 21 to get to word of the day territory. 780-218-9999 if you want to text the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. So your game of the night's already started. And mine's, is it 8 or 8:30 for that one? I forgot to write it down. Where is it here? Anyway, it's Islanders at Kings. 8:30. So the Oilers will play in New Jersey on Thursday. That's a 5:30 game. So we will have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 4:30. So we'll go 3 to 4:30 and then 5:30 to 6. And are you off on Friday?
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to have to come up with something goofy on that one. You know what we're going to do on Thursday, by the way?
What, by the way?
We're going to have the person who hired me for my first ever broadcasting job on the show.
That's right.
So Thursday is the 25th anniversary of my first day in Lloydminster.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow. You know what I want? I want the nasties. If you feel up to it, what would you like to know about Reid in his early days of broadcasting? Because this would be the fella to ask, would it not?
Well, I may not remember all of them.
No, but maybe he would. Maybe he's got some...
Oh, well, you want Buck to say?
Yeah. So who's coming on?
Greg Buchanan. He was the sports director in Lloyd that hired me. And then after about 3.5 years, he left, and then I became the sports director. But Greg was still in town, and he was running the Border Kings and was a big driving force behind the 05 Allen Cup. The Theo Fleury one, won by the Thunder Bay Bombers, Corey McEachran in net.
Who could forget?
And then Greg was the GM of the Border Kings team that won the Allen Cup in 2007, played in Stony Plain. I did the play-by-play for that, one of the final things I did in Lloyd at that station. But Greg's great. We'll come on, have some laughs, maybe some laps too.
Liquid Beaver says if they win the division, they could also play Minnesota. I think it's going to be 5 teams out of the Central, 3 out of the Pacific. Yeah, I mean, St. Louis is right there. They're 1 point back. But Calgary and Vancouver have 2 games in hand on St. Louis.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be 4 of each. And yeah, Minnesota's kind of fallen out of the divisional race a bit, haven't they? They've kind of settled into that wild card spot.
Well, it was funny last week when we had Jamie Thomas on, and they were talking about who Winnipeg would like to face and who Dallas is going to have to face. And there was not one mention of Minnesota. It was Dallas, Colorado.
Well, yeah, good point.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get a sense of how things are going to shake out.
All right. Keep clicking the thumbs up button on YouTube. Let's pull it together here and get to 130 within the next 20 minutes so Jay can give me a word of the day. We have a top 3 inspired by Joaquin Gage in a couple of minutes.
Tons of action in the NHL. 4 games are live nearly midway through the first. Sens lead the Flyers 1-0, while the Bruins trail 1-0 to the Panthers. We also have Vegas and Pittsburgh hitting the ice, while the Blue Jackets challenge the Devils. 3 WHL games go down. Tri-City welcomes in Seattle. Regina hosts Saskatoon, and the Rebels butt heads with the Warriors. And Tiger Woods has been hit by the injury bug once again. During practice, he ruptured his Achilles and is out indefinitely. The 49-year-old underwent successful surgery to repair the injury. No set timeline yet for his return. Down south, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport has stated that the Ravens are expected to sign former Chief DeAndre Hopkins to a 1-year, $6 million contract. And 2 games are underway in the NBA. Pistons and Wizards are locked at 6 points aside. Cavs and the Nets are tied at 14 apiece, having both games halfway through the first quarter. After that, Milwaukee visits Indiana, and the Clippers face the Pelicans, having 4 games in the association. The sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Visit findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. We have a quick break before Reid delivers his top 3. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Jamie McLennan joining us today.
To me, I just think that they need more from some of the players that are very key. But it's the goals you give up, deflating goals. It's disappointing situations. They looked like they were at 70% as far as emotion level. I don't know what the thought process is from the fan base, but I think you need to worry about your game just rounding into shape.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
The Canadian Brewhouse wing flavors of the month are going head-to-head. Spicy Dill 2.0 versus Bang Bang Sauce. Head to the Canadian Brewhouse for wing night to cast your vote. Great wings, cold drinks, and an atmosphere you won't forget. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
She bought a car working nights at the mall. TV taught her how to drive it. She bought a car, didn't want one to
5:24 in the PM. Hope you're having a great day. Along with Jason Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins. It is Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. All right. We got a limerick here. Read at edmontonsportstalk.com is the email from the Big Uke. Back again on this day of the twos. Alberta wins the Brier. Headline news. Shocking attack, baton thwack. As you learnt your job, did you have a muse? My goodness. If only I were so fortunate as to have a muse.
So you asked the question to Stanley and YYC.
What did I ask him?
Well, he said the Oilers, under most coaches over the last 8 years, have struggled managing the ice time.
Yeah, I'm just curious. That's what I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just curious what angle he's taking.
And he didn't take it that way, but he did get back, okay, which we appreciate. For the defense ice time, we have historically depended on 1 to 2 big-minute munchers when our coaching staffs lost trust, sometimes reasonable, sometimes not, on some of our 4, 5, 6 D-men. Larson and Sekera were leaned on heavily.
Yep.
Then Larson and Clefbaum.
Yeah.
I think there's been a gap in our defensive core since we sadly lost Clefbaum to his career-ending shoulder injury, which forced an eventual trade for Ekholm, which has been great. You don't have to read this on air or not. Sorry. Should have read it before you said that.
No, we have to read it on air.
I think we have to. Just wanted to explain what I thought. And I love that, Stanley, and you did a great job explaining it. And, there might be some truth to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back and look at all the historical ice times. Certainly, Tippett leaned on Larson a lot of times. Clefbaum, Sekera, and Larson were all on the 2017 team that ended the playoff drought. Nurse, a younger Nurse, was there as well. Well, the thing is, again, with the way Kulak and Nurse are playing, and Ekholm, while hampered, still very good. Yeah, could it be a little more even?
I think it has to be. For the sake,
at least with the top 4.
At least for the sake of Evan Bouchard.
Right.
Because you're putting him out there on an island, and it's not going well. Just admit it's not going well. Well, you can always get back up to that amount of ice time if his game turns around, but there's something missing, whether it's confidence or an understanding, I don't know. But I think that could be leveled out. And now you have, with the addition of Jake Wallman, you have the horses to do it. Where do you think Klingberg, fits in here?
7th defenseman.
7th.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's the obvious healthy scratch.
So
when
Oilers
Ekholm is healthy.
So you still think you'd want to see Ek and Bouchard on the top pairing?
No, not necessarily. I think Bouchard plays better with Ekholm, but if you're going to limit Bouchard's ice time and put him out there in offensive situations, then maybe you could go, Ekholm, Wallman, Nurse, Kulak. Well, then you got guys shooting the same way. Nurse, Emberson, Kulak, Bouchard, but there's some sort of a rotation.
I don't mind that. And then bring Bouchard on for the power plays. Right?
Yeah.
But you're hiding him and limiting his playing time in the areas that he is not that good at.
Yeah.
At least right now.
Tom Gazzola in the Nasty Chat saying, "What up, Nasties?" I don't know, Tom. What's up with you, my friend? Give us a thumbs up. We can see 1:30 on the horizon, but we still have some work to do. We got to get into a word of the day, man. We have not come up short of word of the day territory.
Have no fear
on a full
Ricky.
show.
Have no fear.
I have a little bit of fear. People are not rallying today.
Tommy, I know what he's been doing this afternoon. He's been indulging in a nice game of
Dungeons and Dragons.
And now he's done for the day and he's joining us. So thank you, Tommy. And
fantastic.
Hey, that was Joaquin Gage.
That was Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas.
Guess what? Guess what we just entered into today?
All right, so we are in. Well, you were in it last year, weren't you?
I was not.
Oh, I was not either. Well, I didn't work here when it started. We are in a Formula One, F1 as the kids call it, fantasy league, a fantasy pool. So each driver and team, constructor, I guess they're called, has a value, and you can select $100 million worth of 5 drivers and 2 constructors. So the better drivers are worth like $30, $25 million, and the lower end guys are worth like 7. Same with the teams. So you and I today, Gager showed us how to set this up.
I'm in.
And we're in. Now it's free. There's no money.
No.
Just a trophy to win. This is what, the 4th year Gager's done it?
I think so.
Because I think he said he's won twice and somebody else won 1 year.
Oh, really?
How convenient.
How convenient.
But it's through the F1 website.
Yes.
I would have paid a small amount to go in this. Like, I would have done 10, even $20 for the year. More than that, I probably wouldn't have.
Definitely
I'm pretty cheap.
Donating it, because I don't have a hot clue what I'm doing.
No, I mean, I recognize the names of the high-end drivers, but then you have to take a guy that's going to finish 20th, or how many are in a race? 22, I think? Yeah, we're not even sure.
Who knows,
So
Reid?
we did. So Jay and I are doing an F1 pool, and we each take 2 teams, right? So you get to take 2 teams. So you could take the same team twice, but I took different drivers. So this inspires, though, our top 3 things I could say about F1 to Joaquin Gage to annoy Joaquin Gage. It's because in the last, 5 or 6 years, Gager has gone from not watching F1 to being completely enamored with and engaged with Formula One, correct?
Well, I can tell you exactly when he got enamored with it. It was 2018 or 2019 when Drive to Survive came
That's
out.
what got him into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Overrated show also. Anyway.
Whoa!
There's number
There's
1.
one.
There's one for the top 3 I just thought of.
Yes.
Drive to Survive. Drive to Survive. Overrated show. Really? That's what. There's one thing I could say to Joaquin Gage to annoy him about Formula One.
I came up with a few as well. My first one would be like, yeah, but it's only the top 3 racers that really matter.
Well, that's true, isn't it?
Well, no, not in this pool.
Oh, not in this pool. If you can get a guy who consistently finishes 19th, could put you over the top.
But that is a beef I have with F1, an actual beef, is there's not that much parity. Like, you kind of know who's going to win, or one of 3 people are going to win. You don't get the upsets.
Which leads into one of mine that I could say to annoy Joaquin. Yeah, it's not really about the best driver. It's just the best car. Like, what difference does the driver make? It's just the car. The
just
team
there.
that spends the best technology wins.
Yeah, I'm a diehard F1 fan. I tune into the Montreal Grand Prix every year.
The one race in Canada that's in a convenient time zone to watch. That's a good one. Here's another one of mine. So is this kind of like NASCAR, Gager?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Is that the biggest insult to F1 fans to compare it to NASCAR?
I don't know that it's an insult. I mean, who was the driver? He used to be an Indy. He came over to NASCAR.
Not Tagliani. Tagliani is an awesome interview, by the way.
Helio Castroneves. He was a 4-time Indy 500 winner. He came over and made his Daytona 500 debut this year.
Is he not married to Ashley Judd?
Couldn't tell you.
I interviewed him in person once at the Indy in Edmonton.
Did you?
Yes.
I had a Helio Castroneves
pretty sure he's
hat.
he not married to Ashley Judd? Check it.
Check it.
Check the spouse, Jablonski. I need to know the spouse's name.
Castroneves' wife.
Sorry, that was the wrong voice. Check the spouse's name, Jablonski. Who is he married to? Tell me now.
No. He has been in a long-term relationship with Adriana Henao.
Ashley Judd was or is married to a race car driver. Oh, Dario Franchitti. They're divorced. My mistake. I might have interviewed him. I don't know. Dario Franchitti is Ashley Judd's now ex-husband. Somebody was listening to that and just furious that I couldn't remember.
But I think that when NASCAR or Indy drivers come over to NASCAR, they're just, it's crazy.
The money grab, baby.
Well, and it's
I don't know.
You can hit each other. Like, and you often do. Like, it's a, if you can call it physical.
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Top 3 things we could say to Joaquin Gage about Formula One to annoy Joaquin Gage. I don't know, Gager. It doesn't seem like they're going that fast.
Hey, I had that one too.
Oh, did you have that?
That
one
was
too?
yeah. I don't know. Are they really going that fast?
Are they really going that fast, Gager? Like what are they going? Like 130? I go 120 on the highway.
Max Bezzozu in the nasty chat has a good one, and send yours in as well, everybody. But he says, "But who is the Lightning McQueen of F1?"
That's a good question.
Good question.
Nobody knows. Portions of this hour, by the way, presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. Join the Spring Golf League at the Canadian Ice House, running now until May 4th. 10 rounds, 2-person scramble format, great prizes, and more. Sign up now at the Canadian Ice House and enjoy the season. Do you have anything else for Gager?
Nope.
Gager, you're done. So how do you think you're going to do in this pool? Will you follow it religiously? I feel this is one of those
Nope.
I'm going to lose interest in.
Yeah.
And I'll have like some driver that's not even racing, and I'll just leave him on my team. And
I have
Gager
a
will be
hard
upset.
enough time keeping up with my one fantasy NFL
Yeah,
fantasy
same
football.
here. Same here. Well,
And
remember
I'm
when I did the top 3 annoying fantasy football owner habits, and it was all me?
Yes.
The guy who doesn't check his team.
But even that's starting to wane on me. Like, I'm not as interested in it. Like, there's people in my league that are just waiver wire every week, picking up this guy, trading. I usually don't move anything from my roster.
Oh, yeah. Like, it'll be halfway through an NFL season, and when it shows you the standings, and it's like waiver moves, and I'll have 1, and some guys will have 79.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what are you doing? Like,
oh, why?
How do you... you care that much about who your 4th running back is?
Yikes.
Anyway, the Gager will keep us all in. Is there a race this weekend already?
Yeah, Australian Grand Prix. It's the opening of the year.
Last I looked, Quaddy, Ekblad does not count against the cap while suspended. So somebody was
Well, what are
asking
they
that.
going to do? I guess they could bring up players within their organization.
Yeah, exactly. Is EST doing a nasty bracket challenge for March Madness? Not that I know of.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. We'd have to have something on.
And for us to organize something that's actually gambling, where we're taking money, I think that involves.
Well, you'd need to have a license for it.
Yeah.
Maybe through CoolBet.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Is March Madness this? No, next week there's games.
Well, this weekend coming up is the conference games,
and then the selection
Sunday. And
so
then
a
they
week from
start
today
next
will be the
Wednesday.
first 4 of those play-in games, right?
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah. All right, 780-218-9999 is how you text us, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. We need 8 thumbs to get to 130, so Jay gives me a word of the day. Do not dally with your thumb. Encourage other people to log in if they're not listening right now on YouTube and give us a thumbs up. We need to get to 130.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
I'm going to make an album of that song.
What would it be? Just different body parts?
No, it would just be that song with different... it's the same song, just different styles of music.
Smitty the Welder says there's no cap relief for suspended players.
Yes, usually, but I looked up. I just quickly checked Aaron Ekblad salary cap, and the first thing that came up is NHL salary cap resource Puckpedia has confirmed that surprisingly, Ekblad's $7.5 million annual salary will not count against the cap while he's suspended.
Well, it looks like Jasmine's put her hand up to run the bracket challenge for EST.
Oh, that's great.
Wow, good for you, Jasmine. We appreciate that. She says in the nasty chat, we will be doing a bracket challenge. Awesome.
Make it so, number 1.
I'm in, Jasmine, and thank you for stepping up to run it.
Well, yeah, apparently she's running it. I mean, why else would you say we're doing one unless you know?
Yeah.
And then now she says, I will keep you guys updated, waiting for Maddie to get back to set it up. Well, you could just do something on YouTube or CBS Sports and people could log in and just play for free, right?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be monitored. Like,
no,
you know.
It's just a bracket challenge. Here's the link. Go create an account, sign in, click, click, click. Because on the drop down, thumb, the drop down menu, and you're off and running. Jasmine, I hope you've given the show a thumbs up. We are 6 away from 130. Let's not break our streak of getting to at least 130. Here comes my good friend Zachary Kubish with a sports update.
Right now, the Devils are up 2-0 on the Blue Jackets. Florida holds Boston 1-0. And the Flyers trail 1-0 to the Sens, while the Golden Knights and Penguins are scoreless. All those games are nearing the end of 20, and just getting underway are the Lightning and Hurricanes. Later, the Canadians and Canucks go at it. Rangers face the Jets, and the Avs battle the Wild, having 11 games around the league. And NFL free agency sees Justin Reid going to the Saints from the Chiefs. He signs a $31.5 million deal for the next 3 years. And NFL Network's Ian Rappaport has also stated that the Ravens are looking to sign former Chief DeAndre Hopkins to a 1-year, $6 million deal. 2 games are live in basketball. Washington is down by 14 to Detroit, while Brooklyn holds Cleveland 29-26 aside, having both games entering quarter 2. After that, it's the Bucks and Pacers tipping off before the Clippers challenge the Pelicans on a 4-game NBA slate. Elsewhere, Tiger Woods has ruptured his Achilles during practice. He's out indefinitely. Woods did undergo surgery to repair the torn tendon, but the 49-year-old has no set date for his return. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update. The Reid Wilkins Show returns on the other side of the break.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
All right, good to have you tuning in. We have gone over 130 thumbs.
Well, isn't it nice to be suddenly so highly regarded?
Thank you, Nasties.
Well done.
Smitty, there might be a different rule for on-ice and off-ice suspensions. I think with the salary cap. I'll have to look more into this a little bit later on. I think that is the difference. Because he's asking about which is a good question. Because it is kind of lame that you can be suspended and then you get break under the cap. NHL suspensions count against cap. When players are suspended for on-ice events, this is considered supplemental discipline, and their cap hit still counts against the cap. When they're suspended for off-ice events, and they give an example of Austin Watson, domestic violence, Nate Schmidt, failed drug test, they do not count against the cap during the suspension. Apparently, Section 50.10C in the collective bargaining agreement. So, Smitty, I hope that helps answers your question. Let me just check something else here. Yeah, so that's not... hang on here. Yeah, anyway, Smitty, that's what I have for you now. I hope that's accurate. Oh, Smitty found it at the same time I did. Smitty, I owe you a hug, buddy. It's a long time coming, eh? It's one of the first things we did on this show. Was that I owed Smitty a hug. Yeah, and see, I feel like I got to apologize to Smitty because I made him unhappy because he doesn't like the rule.
You do like when people are happy. What's a Yokozuna?
Is that a wrestler? Was that a WWE
is that
wrestler?
Like the best sumo?
Or was
Somebody
that
sent it in earlier.
Or was that a wasn't Yoko?
Well, yeah, I think so. But there's an actual, like, right now in
Yokozuna.
Osaka.
Oh.
There is it's the spring, what is it?
The Spring Showdown.
Spring Grand Sumo Tournament.
Oh, neat.
New
Does anybody in
Yokozuna
Edmonton do sumo?
Hoshoryu walked a tightrope but claimed his second straight win, defeating number 1 Megashira Wakamotoharu with a headlock throwdown. Wow. Somebody sent in a Yokozuna-inspired limerick earlier.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
okay, it's legit. It's happening.
That's amazing.
I wonder if in Osaka, Osaka's in Japan, right?
Yes.
Could you bet on sumo?
Oh, I'm sure you can.
I wonder if CoolBet offers lines.
If you can bet on sumo on CoolBet, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be the biggest piece of guesswork I've ever been a part of.
I'm just realizing now I haven't been on CoolBet in a while.
Maybe you should.
Well, maybe I don't know. Okay, I'm going to put in sumo. Whoa!
Are you on CoolBet right now?
Right now.
Looking up.
Oh, it's tennis.
What?
Yeah, you can't bet on sumo.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
I know who you are.
I would have. Why not?
Oh, Tom Gazzola, you beautiful man. You handsome old scallywag.
Scallywag.
Tom, throw a trivia question into the nasty chat for me and Jay to answer in the next 8 minutes.
Ooh.
Actually, in the next 4 minutes, because we got 8 minutes left in the show. Because we're only going to have one word of the day. Because let's face it, we did not make it to 100 unless we really rally. We're at 135, but we do have a single word of the day, and Tom will ask us a sports trivia question in the nasty chat, and we'll try to answer it. Sound good?
Okay.
Just as Tom's in the nasty chat doing some work. All right, let's do word of the day, baby.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
All right. Oilers did not practice today, by the way. They'll practice tomorrow. Game on Thursday, visiting the New Jersey Devils. It's at 5:30, so Tom and Hernan will have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 4:30. All right.
Okay. The word of the day today is wend.
Wend?
Wend.
The word of the day is wend.
Yeah.
That's seriously the word of the day.
That's what I said.
Wend.
Wend.
Just trying to think of how this could be spelled or spelt.
Can I give you a clue?
Yes.
Don't overthink it.
W-E-N-D. Wend. Wend. W-E-N-D. All right, so I spelled it correctly. That was my first guess of the ones I was writing
I like
down.
the version with the H in it.
I was wondering if it was W-H-E-N.
Wend.
And then I was like, could it be W-E-N-E-D or something like that?
Like
or is
cool.
there a
Whip.
silent...
Wend.
Is there a silent K at the beginning?
It
All
is
right.
a verb.
It is a verb. So somebody or something would take an action, a wend. They would take a wend action. Wow, this is a tough one. I've never heard this word. I mean, some of the words you've given me, I mean, obviously some I knew, but some you've given me and I've thought I've heard or seen this, but I don't know what it is. This I have no clue. It is a verb, wend.
Once you hear the definition, it's going to make a lot... like, it sounds like this word. You and I were to wend around the neighborhood.
It is to navigate in a... like in not a... Like almost to meander, maybe? Like to navigate in a non-direct line? To...
I'm going to give
Sort
it
of
to you.
got it?
Yeah. Wend is a literary word that means to move slowly from one place to another, usually by a winding or indirect course.
Well, I kind of got half of it. I didn't get the move slowly part.
Wended our way through the narrow streets of the city's historic quarter.
Well, I'd only give myself a half for that one. That is a good one, though. So to move slowly, can you say the definition again?
To move slowly from one place to another, usually by a winding or indirect course. So, Coob in Seattle had a little too much to partake in at the rock
events
concert
that I went to,
and found himself wending home.
Would you say I went my way around the golf course?
You could.
What rock concert did you attend?
I went to one called Segs, S-K-E-G-S-S, and then a rap concert as well.
What's Segs?
They're kind of like an acid rock kind of
play
surfer.
What is acid rock?
Oh my gosh.
Play some Segs.
Are they on acid while they're doing the
it's
show?
not going to sound fantastic. Well, I mean, the front man seemed to be wending his way around the stage a little bit.
Oh, cool. Can you play some Segs? Seriously.
I can try.
Do it. Yeah, get on the old...
I have to wend my way through the browser.
Get on the old YouTube.
One moment.
Coob's under pressure here.
Coob was really under pressure. So is Tom. Tom has not submitted a trivia question into the Nasty Chat. He probably didn't hear me say that. That's why. Did you hear the Tiger Woods news?
That's terrible. He's never going to play golf again.
Well, that's sadly true, or sadly possible. He's not played in a PGA Tour event since his mother passed away on February 4th. He was in the field for the Genesis Invitational at Torrey Pines. He withdrew. He was hoping to play in the Masters. That's not going to happen. He last competed in a tour event when he missed the cut at the Open Championship, the British Open at Royal Troon in July. He has played in 4 TGL matches this season. What was that?
What was Canada's first national sport?
Lacrosse.
Soccer, hockey, lacrosse, or cricket?
Is it not still lacrosse?
What was Canada's first?
Lacrosse. That's wrong?
Cricket.
Really?
What is Canada's official summer sport? Curling, hockey, baseball, lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Where did the
lacrosse for all of them?
Where did the first 18-hole golf course appear in Canada? Montreal, Niagara Falls, Victoria, or Dartmouth?
I will say Montreal. Dartmouth. Victoria.
In what year did the Canadian men's soccer team win gold in its first ever Olympics? 1904, 1880, 1995, or 1909?
1904.
Coob, you got some
that's an easy one.
Segs?
I think I do. This one is called LSD. That's the name of the song. That's their most popular song.
How fitting.
Well, they don't sound like they're an asset at all. I thought it was going to be more out of control than this.
It's pretty groovy.
I don't find these people to be on acid at all.
What venue were you at?
The Neptune, it's called. It's over 100 years old. I think it was made in 1921. It used to be an old theater, and it's called Neptune. They got stained glass everywhere of Neptune and all these sea creatures and stuff. Winding kind of roads and ramps and stuff. Ramps and carpeted flooring with, tridents and waves and stuff like that. I was wending my way through the establishment because it was so wavy on the ground. Like, it literally wasn't level.
Interesting. All right.
Our good friend from the Shamrock, Gavin, has chimed in. 2 games of the night at the Shamrock tonight. House Hunters versus Royal Guards for the TEFL League Championship. That is his game of the night.
Play more tables.
All right. We got to go. Tom will have to give us a question tomorrow. We'll talk more Oilers tomorrow. Pandas basketball's at Nationals. We'll talk about them. The Oil Kings play at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Ooh,
the hockey game. I think we're going to get a player on after the game.
That's a great idea.
So that'll be pretty fun. Big thanks to Zachary Kubish, our sports update deliverer, and our technical producer. On behalf of Jason Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins. Have a great night.
Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.